Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get to. The Grizzlies, a game that they had to win last night, did result in a victory, an easy 24-point win over the Hornets, but it did come with a massive injury. We'll talk a lot about that. We'll put a wrap on the college basketball season. We got to talk Masters as the Par 3 Challenge going on right now in anticipation for the start of the tournament tomorrow morning. Got to talk some baseball. A lot to get to throughout today's show. But, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. Are there any props, any bets on the Par 3 contest out there on the betting apps?
That is a good question. I
like
certainly
over and under
not,
for holes in one or anything like that?
I'm sure there are. I certainly have not bet on anything like that.
You hadn't weighed in?
I have not weighed in on the Par 3, but I'm sure there's somewhere you can find them. I mean, it's a big event every single year. It's on ESPN. I mean, those sorts of things, usually somewhere there are places to bet them.
You know, I don't want to go broke with anything, but I sure don't want to go broke betting the Par 3 contest.
No. I'll pass on that. But I mean, you know, you could wager on TGL, and if you can wager on TGL, then I would say there's a chance.
Well, I think I'd bet on the Par 3 contest for with TGL.
Well, I've already done one of them, and you know which one I haven't done. So,
what did it say, if anything? Tiger Woods was not in attendance last night for the Champions Dinner.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
Big deal? No big deal.
I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't either.
Obviously, coming off of surgery and a big injury, it was very noticeable that he wasn't there. I mean, you look at the picture, and he's the big omission from it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really means anything. And I think if it did mean something, I think you'd see a lot more out there kind of speculating than what we've seen.
Yeah, and he went a few years with other injuries, as there have been a lot of injuries, and he's been there with those. I don't think it was vanity. I don't think he wanted be photographed on crutches or whatever. I hope and think it was just total speculation and guess on my part that it just didn't feel right and didn't work out for him.
Sure.
And not close to the end of time.
No, I mean, yeah, and so I don't think a big deal. He did miss what looked like a great dinner, though. I mean, it looked like that was a...
I bet Tiger ate well.
I'm sure he did.
But it wasn't his only shot at a decent meal.
But in terms of master dinners, at least what I am in favor for, that was a good one last night with Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, and I hope there are a lot of people from this area, from our listening area, able to go this week. Mm-hmm. 1 day, 2 days, however you can go, in the weather forecast. Yeah. We've really kind of fought it a few years. A couple years ago was.
Oh yeah.
I went a couple years ago, and on Saturday I froze, absolutely froze, and a lot of rain, a lot of issues with it. Even the year Tiger won in 2019, there were a lot of rain issues. It looks just. Chamber of Commerce, what Clifford Roberts and Bobby Jones would have ordered.
Oh, no, it absolutely does. And, I think there was some, worry, but obviously a whole bunch of rain going through there on Monday. But obviously they know what they're doing out there, and it looks really good on TV right now.
It does. I do think that, even at home and with more of the concentration of the coverage, I don't know that they can, and I don't know that they would, but they might make suggestions of don't make too much of the Hurricane Helene damage that it took. And Augusta proper. Look, a half mile from there, Augusta State College was practically leveled. So if it took that kind of hit, Augusta National did, and we know it did then. But they're coy about everything, and really don't want to tell a whole lot of their business about anything. But I do think we will be able to see, oh, wow, look at that. That's a different view. And one that they're talking about in the speculation that it could affect shots is on the left of 11, which abuts Augusta Country Club, that a lot of those pines were lost. And, look, a decorative one here or there, they can replace. But a whole covey of them, not even they can do that in this short amount of time. And they're talking about, with the wind direction, that could really affect that shot. And standing on or behind that tee box and the TV view of it, it looks like you're trying to hit it down the hallway at Flynn Broadcasting.
Oh yeah, well, and I was reading some quotes from Xander Schauffele kind of talking about that and said that he knows a lot of other golfers kind of use those trees as aim points and kind of to figure that hole out. And obviously that when he got to that hole, his first practice round of the week, that it shocked him. I mean, he said he had to sit there and kind of take it all in for a second because it was so different. He said with not many trees there now, he was like, you can see a lot of parts of the course that you couldn't see before, and that it was really kind of a culture shock for him.
And the right side of 11, as you're looking down the hole, that's Hootie Johnson's trees that he put up in the name of Tiger proofing, because in 97, Tiger was blasting driver down that right side in just a three-quarter pitching wedge in.
Man.
And that's not how Alistair McKenzie designed it. Tiger changed the world, and I don't know that the Tiger proofing, I don't know that it ever cost him one. Mm-hmm. But what if it did? If it cost him one, then he would be tied with. That's right. He'd be tied with Jack Nicklaus with 6.
That's true. I mean, I would think it would certainly make it a little more difficult for him. I mean, that was the point of it, right? So
Express. That was exactly. Expressly the point of Tiger proofing it. They weren't Constantino Rocca proofing it.
No. There was one guy they were trying to slow down. So I mean, I think there is probably a little something to that.
You just wonder if Bryson DeChambeau will just try to bomb and gouge.
Yeah, and that's what he certainly likes to do. They just showed him on ESPN right now. I will say this. I've been in and out pretty much all day on the par 3, bouncing back and forth between that, the Cardinals. But I did see Bryson DeChambeau. I saw a couple of other LIV guys. It looks like the apparel this time through a little more toned down on it's LIV stuff, but it seems a little more casual, not as bold as it was the first couple times they were rolling through here.
Yeah, it never was too much in the face. Now, Brooks Koepka, even with his LIV deal, I think he still wears the Nike swoosh visor.
He does. But I think some of these guys.
Here's the one that likes to rub it in their noses.
It's Phil.
Phil
loves it. But I think the first couple times, all of them were wearing, if they were wearing their team gear, it was like a big logo on the chest, the big logo on the hat. And I just saw Bryson, it's kind of like a shaded logo on his hat that's not as doesn't stand out as much. The shirt is kind of like an off color, so doesn't stand out as much. So maybe a little toned down.
Cam Smith was a little wild, and then weird. Cam Smith. I don't know that I've ever seen this in my life, even like ceremonial shots or just for funsies. This morning on the practice area, hitting balls in a blue blazer.
That's right. Yeah. Hey.
Huh? What?
I don't really have an answer for that. I don't know.
Pretty devoted to a blue blazer, but I don't know if I want to take a few swings with my driver with it.
No, feels does not
break
feel
out Big
fun.
Bertha and whack away with it.
No, thank you. I would I'd pass on that.
You think that was the only outerwear he packed?
Maybe he came a little unprepared, and he's like, it's a little cold out here. I gotta wear something.
Send an assistant back to the clubhouse and bring my blue sport jacket.
Right, yeah. No, that was weird. That was maybe the thing that stood out the most today.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Never. That was weird. But hey, good for him, I guess.
I mean, Gene Sarazen famously would wear the knickers like Payne Stewart wore later. Gene Sarazen, Squire, always wore that. And he would wear those with a tie and sport coat, but like out to eat.
Sure.
Not to play
playing in. Yeah, a little different there. So kind of weird. But hey, if that's what he wanted to do today, good for him, I guess.
Gonna be a wild and woolly one if we're doing.
If you're comfortable to do that, then hey, by all means, I guess go out there and have a ball. So no, it's gonna be fun. Obviously, we're gonna get to golf picks later, and then it'll all get started tomorrow morning.
I'm ready. Our friend Richard Cross, his fame, he was listening to us one day, and he texted me, "Hi, Hardwin, what player on tour, and it would take a big enough lead on Sunday to try to skip one across 16. Now, remember, when they do that skipping, they move up a little. It's not from in the Augusta National. I don't want them doing it from the tee box because that's a pretty good gouge out of Mother Earth. But who is the player with a big enough lead would go full kind of 10 cup and skip one across? Jeez, you think there's anybody that ever be that daring?
I think if there is one, I'm having trouble figuring one out. I think it would probably be Bryson.
Probably
honestly.
so.
I think Bryson would be the guy, and you're seeing Bryson. And I'm kind of shocked how much attention it's gotten, especially this week. I mean, he's had to answer a couple questions about it, but he has created a YouTube channel and social media. He's doing all these trick shots over his house. So, like, if he had a big enough lead, like, I would not be surprised if he was like, this would be fun and just
that's his brand, isn't it?
It sure is. It absolutely is. So he's probably the only one I could see trying something like that out.
That sure was frightening last night
really
in Charlotte with Jalen Wells. I'm glad he is released from the hospital and going to be fine, except for the rest of the year. He is out with a broken wrist, but it was terrifying. There was a moment I thought this could be something we didn't ever want to see.
Oh yeah, no, it was certainly a scary situation, and where I was at when it happened live, I was watching it, but I didn't have a great view of it, and so I didn't really know how he landed. I saw a couple other angles of it on social media, and it kind of looked like he had landed on his back. Then I found the actual video on the FanDuel Sports Network broadcast, and where it looks like he landed on his head. And so, yeah, I mean, very scary. Obviously, when you saw everyone kind of circle around and them immediately start kind of motioning that we need more help and we need a stretcher to come out here. That
serious medical situation
was really uncomfortable. Seeing him getting rolled off with his head stabilized on the stretcher was very scary. But then you're right. To hear the good news later in the night, his father putting out on social media a little bit of a good update. Sham Sharani ends up putting out an update later in the night saying that really just a broken wrist, and then obviously today the update that he's out of the hospital. So all in all, really really good news coming out of that. But you're right, for a while there, and it was a very lengthy delay. It was very, very scary of what did we just see and what does this mean for the rest of his career.
And I thought FanDuel Sports Network, the Grizzlies guys made the right decision. Did they ever show a single replay?
No, not that I saw. And I was watching pretty much all night. I watched, like I said,
I was watching real time when it happened, and Pete acknowledged that we just made the decision that we're not going to show it.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's
I don't know that it needs to be shown now, even knowing that it's a better result than it looked. Broken wrist, still serious, but I don't know if it's still, because it was really rough.
Well, and I think that's what for me at least, I was watching it and saw it happen, and then I was like, well, I didn't get a good look at it, and so I was kind of waiting, and then I realized they're not going to show this again, and so ultimately, saw it on social media. I think it was the right decision, especially at the time. I mean, obviously at the time you don't know what's happening and what this injury could be. Certainly, I was definitely in favor of not showing it again, and I think they made the right call, and certainly, I think better news than what some people might have thought it would have been when we actually saw that play. I didn't think it was a dirty play or anything. I just thought it was kind of one of those
Could
things.
Could it have been avoided?
I think so. It was kind of awkward. It looked like
I don't think it was dirty either.
I don't think it was dirty. Maybe it could have been avoided, but it kind of looked like one of those where he was trying to make a play and then maybe tried to take off at the last minute, and kind of in trying to not make a play but also not be in the way, got in the way. Like it felt like one of those type of things. And KJ Simpson. Oh, you could see it on his face last night right after it happened. He was kind of down on the ground, really beside himself.
Would Draymond be getting this break if he would have been involved?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, and I think obviously that has to do with the track record for sure.
That's right.
But no, I think you could see on his face he felt terrible. He gets ejected after the game. He put out a tweet
Would
on
Dylan
social
Brooks
media.
get this break?
No, again, track record, and I think that's kind of what it all comes down to.
And I don't want to get too macabre about sports injuries. That was really rough to watch.
Oh yeah,
I think the Joe Theismann Monday Night Football injury for me is the all-timer, and I was watching it live, and my reaction. My parents like, what the heck's going on? I said, don't turn it on Monday Night Football from the other room. I said, whatever you do, don't turn it on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And I don't know that ABC ever showed that again after but Lawrence Taylor's reaction to that was immediate, Brian. I mean, it was immediate, like, get out of here now. Tell you another one that I was at a game live for. Tiger fans will remember this, the Steve Matthews injury that was kind of dubbed the Joe Theismann injury. And I think Ole Miss was the opponent, and the other team immediately waving to the sideline of well, man, get somebody out here. Now, of course, the saddest, the worst is Hank Gathers, passing away during the game. But I'm talking about just run of the mill injury is what I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of them, and we almost had one in the Cardinal game today with the Pirates.
Sure did.
With kind of the not routine pop up, kind of a off the knuckles pop up. Usually the pitcher never gets involved in pop-ups.
That's right.
Because there's a lot going on the mound.
Sure
the rubber, the clip for the cleats, the elevation, and a big bounded into their catcher.
Yeah, and that's
Sagasi,
the thing. You don't want something like that to happen. I mean, pitcher, do not get in there at all.
Sagasi, the runner for the Cardinals, kind of stopped to make sure everybody was okay.
Yeah.
It was, you got to score.
It was weird. It was certainly weird. And, I have questions about, maybe why he's on the why he's getting playing time right now. But, that's neither here nor there. But, no, I mean, that was.
I don't like our lineup anymore.
I don't either. Especially with some of these injuries. I certainly
Well, we were March's team, though, weren't we?
Oh,
Reggie Jackson, famously, Mr. October. Cardinals were Mr. March this year, weren't we? Way to go, Cardinals.
Last year, I think they were Mr. March. I mean, we were, wow, they didn't lose as bad as we thought.
Don't
they
mess
would
with
to
us
the
in
Dodgers,
March.
And oh man, just wait till April gets here, and then it's a completely different story. That's kind of how it's played out. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 16. He'll join us, talk college basketball, put a wrap on the college basketball season, really the SEC year in college basketball. We'll do that with Blake in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball. We'll talk about that Cardinals game. A lot of other day games taking place this afternoon. 4 o'clock, John Goen from Timber Trust. He'll join us. We'll talk about the Masters, do a little Masters preview, but also we got to do our first picks of the year, Master picks, golf picks. We'll do that around 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll bring out the grade book for the last time of the college basketball season. Grades for coaches, teams, conferences. We'll do all of that at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated. Go give him a follow on social media at CBB_Central. He'll join us to talk college basketball again, putting a wrap on the college basketball season with Kevin, the national championship game, March Madness, and now a look into the offseason. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and they're already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pools, they're starting at $19.99 installed, and don't forget about the liners. Liners are starting at $299. All pool accessories up to 20% off, and 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99. Swim spas and cold plunge tubs, $2,000 off, and the patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Head out to Family Leisure and mention this ad and get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Landon Schmidt, looking good in his Sid the Kid jersey.
Right,
How about that? How about my hockey knowledge, Brian?
I mean, it's impressive.
Did you think I knew who the jersey was, Landon? The sweater?
I didn't have a doubt in my mind that you would know.
I was a little surprised, I'll be honest.
I had to think about it a second.
And that second number, it's a little hidden based on how he's sitting.
He's a little tough.
Yeah.
Looking good. Landon Schmidt producing. He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're Sports Time. We want you to join us. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and you can join us calling or texting 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. always from our Family Leisure Studios. And Billy and Lindsay, they will take care of you for that pool installation. It's going to be summertime. What a day it is out there today. In this hour, always brought to you by the great people at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673. But stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury and safe driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's the Grizzlies and their win last night over the Charlotte Hornets. A 124-100 win, a win that the Grizzlies absolutely needed. And I don't think there was much doubt for anybody that they would get the win last night. A Hornets team, they're tanking, they're going in the wrong direction. Their star players out with injury, 19-60 on the season, but the Grizzlies did what they needed to do. But that did not come without a little bit of chaos during the game. Jalen Wells takes the hard fall, has to be taken out on a stretcher, taken to the hospital. So about close to a 30-minute delay last night in that game, trying to get him to the hospital, get an ambulance back to the arena before they could start play again. So now the Grizzlies look up and they'll be without Jalen Wells the rest of the year. Who steps up? You got to think it's going to be one of Vince Williams Jr. or G.G. Jackson, two guys that played great last season, had breakout years with all of the injuries, but this season they have not really done what the Grizzlies have needed them to do. Last night, without Jalen Wells, Vince Williams ended up playing 17 minutes. He was 3 for 6 from the field, so maybe he fills that spot. Maybe it's Luke Kennard, but he has really struggled over the last month or so. So I feel like it's going to be one of those guys. One of them will have to step up because now you will enter either the play-in or the playoffs without a guy that has been one of the most consistent players in your lineup. I mean, has been out there every single game up until this point. So we'll see how it ends out with the regular season, where the Grizzlies will be slated in start of play-in playoff talk. But in terms of those 4 games we talked about yesterday, 1 down, 1 win, keep moving, and other teams around you, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who you will see in your next game, they lost a crazy one last night, so maybe things working in your favor. Other places, you continue to find success, but 4 games left, now 3 games left, and try to win out if you can. That will certainly put you in a good spot, I think.
I think Jalen Wells has been appreciated this year, but this could be sadly one of those cases where we really start to appreciate him more in his absence.
Definitely could.
My top story, the Grizzlies. They won, but it came at a terrifyingly expensive cost. Last night, the Jalen Wells injury was ghastly. I think the worst basketball in-play injury I ever saw, David Thompson, the leaper that he was, flying through the air in the 74 NCAA tournament. And Billy Knight, the old Grizzlies GM, he didn't undercut him, but they hit, and Thompson came down on his skull. I mean, blood was everywhere. It was bad. He went on and led NC State to the national championship. But we know Jalen Wells is out for the year. Going to be okay, but out for the year with the broken wrist. And those like me, let me address it, like me, that's been critical to very pointed of Team Wexler-Kleiman, the Wells and Zach Edey picks have been very solid. Yeah. When you start going through that, just draw that line down the middle, pro, con, of what they've done right or wrong, the very pro side of it should be Wells and the other rookie that played a lot last night, Zach Edey. It has worked out for him. Last night, 17 and 19. It's been unlocked under Tommy Isolo, hasn't it?
Yeah.
6 and 21 before that, 8 and 13 before that, 10 and 16 before that. He's really blossoming.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is, and I think you can link a lot of that to Isolo and a lot of this pick and roll that he's running now as the head coach. He is certainly unlocking something that we didn't really see before with Taylor Jenkins. I mean, because there were points this season where he really struggled, and now playing the best basketball that he has played all season long.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, it is the game tonight between the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. The return for Luka Doncic, which I can't wait to watch this game and see how it plays out.
How many 77 Maverick jerseys in the stands?
Everybody. I mean, it is going to be the...
More than Laker?
I think... it will be more than Lakers for sure. I think this is going to be the one game where I think everyone in there is going to be in unison of we love Luka and we hate the
Nico.
people in charge with Dallas. Not just Nico. Everybody I think is going to be involved. I mean, I think it's going to be all out hatred to the higher ups with this Mavericks. I think it's going to be.
It was trading Troy Aikman.
Oh, it absolutely. I mean, I think this is going to be the type of reception tonight. Like we've really never seen before. I mean, we've seen with some beloved players come back and they get that warm introduction and a standing ovation. I think tonight could be different and it could be really fun to watch in Dallas.
Your not top story is tonight. My not top story was last night. That Minnesota loss last night to Milwaukee. I still don't believe what I just saw.
It was insane.
A 34-2 run? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Brian, I've never heard of such.
I can't explain it. I don't.
Football didn't have that kind of run.
No, certainly not.
Sometimes, if the Grizzlies win late night tomorrow night over the Timberwolves, that kind of for sure puts the Grizzlies in front of Minnesota. Kind of seals the 7.
Yep.
Not really desirable, but okay. That means you would host next week in that 7-8. Win that, you're sitting high and dry for a week, really resting up, then to go face the 2. The 6 is still doable. I think I've given up on anything better than that. Should I?
I think so.
So we're playing for 6 or 7.
I think so.
We know we have 8.
Yeah. And I think your hope right now is with Denver going in the wrong direction, maybe they keep spiraling and maybe you can get ahead of them in the 6. But outside of that, I think you're going to be behind the Warriors. I think you're going to be behind the Lakers.
In this round of firing, Chris Finch lose tomorrow night. Is Minnesota firing with 2 games left?
Well, you know what?
It's catching.
It has become a trend in the NBA, so I will never say never. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break. And when we return, we're talking college basketball. We're talking the SEC with Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 16.
Pregame and a special halftime main event. More football, more wrestling, more showboats. Get your tickets today at UFLshowboats.com. That's UFLshowboats.com. Go Boats!
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who pops it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a thunder bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by Nixon.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before. Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Elwood Shack in the Lowe's parking lot on Summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Parker Plus from the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwoods. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, even beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood's even has a real coffee bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now with 2 locations and open every day for you. Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings along to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpet, tile, foundation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Good afternoon, T-Dots out here sorting out a couple of earlier accidents. It is really trying to pick up with more volume in a couple of spots through the Midtown area. I-40 over here at Chelsea as it picks up also there on Sam Cooper going outbound at Highland, there at Perkins as well. Still looks good, 240 as you get on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. Dandelions, crabgrass, if you got any of this in your yard, call Lawn Solutions right now at 867-5626 or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, let's start sports with Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk some college basketball, Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 16 joins us now. Blake, thanks so much for joining us. We just saw Florida cut down the nets a few nights ago in what was a comeback victory for them over the Houston Cougars. What did you see really throughout March Madness, but really through the Final Four game, the Final Four victory for Florida, and the national championship victory for Florida? Both games needed a comeback. What did you see from Florida in those two games?
Yeah, I mean, guys, it was kind of the same theme throughout the entire tournament for them, whether it was, those games, looking at the UConn game where it was like they missed a lot of free throws. You're wondering if that was going to cost them. Didn't play great in the first half against Maryland, had all the turnovers. Texas Tech obviously need the most, furious comeback, probably the bunch, to win that one. And it just kept being the theme of this team, is that no matter kind of what the situation was, they always found a way. And I think that sort of speaks to just playing probably the SEC schedule this year. I mean, that's why we talked about how good this conference was. If you look back at Florida's schedule, they played LSU once, they played South Carolina twice. So they played 3 games against the only, 2 teams that didn't make the NCAA tournament. The rest of them were against tournament teams. And I think ultimately, that wound up being something that was pretty helpful for them as they got into tournament play. And it always helps to have a Walter Clayton. But I think the story of this Florida team, should wind up just being, hey, it was never just Walter Clayton. It was always a bunch of other guys, and it seemed kind of fitting that if there was going to be a team to sort of shut him down, it was going to be Houston, and they did a good job of that for the most part. But at the end of the day, it's just there's so many other guys on this team that can beat you, and that's just sort of the story there in that championship game.
Blake, all year we were talking about the depth and the breadth of the SEC, and it played out with 14 bids, I think deservingly so. I've even heard some true Flat Earth Society knuckleheads say, well, the SEC lost 13 games in the tournament. Well, yeah, that they were going to do that unless somebody wanted. They were either going to lose 13 or 14 games in the tournament. But even when we knew it was really deep, we also knew that there was a separation at the top, that there was a big 4 and then a little bit of a clutter at 5, 6, 7, 8, and then, it dropped off. At what point in the year, when Florida was always mentioned in the Big Four, at what point did it hit you that they can win it all? Because I was late to Florida on winning it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it's probably the easiest answer of the group, but I think that to me, it had to be just what they did to Auburn on February 8th. I mean, at that point, they were, and I feel like it was, that they were 6-3 entering that game in SEC play. Of course, they had started 13-0, and the fact that they had come off of that just ugly loss at Tennessee, where they only scored 44 points. And remember, too, Tennessee was without Zakai Ziegler and Igor Milicic in that game. So Tennessee was down 2 starters, beat them by 20. Florida only scored 44 points. Yeah, they bounced back and beat Vanderbilt by 11 at home, but there wasn't really anything to that point, that sort of just made you think national championship favorite or something to that level. Yes, they had a good record, but people could sort of pick apart, non-conference play. They really didn't play a tough non-conference schedule. They beat everybody, unmercifully at times, but they didn't play, that strong of a schedule. They lose the game to Kentucky, lost a home game to Missouri, and then I mentioned the game against Tennessee, even the South Carolina game. Remember that one, where in late January, they're down and probably shouldn't have won that game. But South Carolina, just made a couple bad plays at the end, and Florida benefited from it. So I think what they did to Auburn was really the point where you're up 21 on the road at a place where we just don't see people win, period, to much less be up 21 at any point in the game. And they just came out and just absolutely smacked Auburn in the mouth and, didn't have Elijah Martin in that game. Remember, they didn't have Micah Logden back yet. So I think at that point we knew, okay, this is where you sort of establish that they clearly have the pieces that you need to go maybe win a national championship. And from that point on, it felt like they just hit another level that no one else could hit. I mean, I even think about the Georgia game, right? They lost that game on February 25th by 5, but they're down 26, and you're thinking, now come on, there's no way they can do anything. And they wind up taking the lead late in that game when they're down 26. And I think it just kind of showed you that nature of the way they played, you're never going to be able to just completely put them away. And that just kind of was the theme, I thought, of the NCAA tournament for them.
Yeah, and that game probably got Georgia in the tournament. Blake Lovell with us talking college basketball. He's been with us all year. He's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Blake, also, I think the easiest take in American sport right now is to give the SEC their credit. You don't have to lick their boots if you don't want to. I'm not even doing that, but I think you have to give them their credit. I heard a national sports analyst say that he's going to have to study to see if this year was really that big a deal for the SEC. Right now, for me, the sports story of 2025, it sure could change, probably will, was the dominance of the SEC in basketball this year. That's easy to discern, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, because, again, it's not like, you're looking up and, all right, they just beat the record by 1. Okay, they got one extra team in. No, they got 14 of their 16 teams in the tournament, and at every round, they felt like they were either tying a record, setting a record, whatever, and I think that was sort of the point, right, is everyone wanted to see it. Okay, well, you got to, regular season doesn't matter if you don't prove it in March. Well, we all mentioned, after the first round, everybody's overreacting when the teams that were underdogs lost, and I'm like, why are we overreacting to the teams that we pretty much expected to lose? Losing that
first round, Blake. It was 2 o'clock on Friday. The first round wasn't even over. It was a round and a half.
Yeah, and it's just sort of kind of looking at it from that standpoint, and all of a sudden, this is bad for the SEC. But and then of course you have Arkansas and Ole Miss and teams like that do what they did, and it's just, that was always the expectation. And I think I've said, and people have started to look ahead to next season too, and putting it in the context of this year and what the SEC has accomplished. They're not going to do it again next year. It's not going to be the same. This was a year where every single thing that could go right went right for the SEC, and we've talked about that before. You're not going to probably post a non-conference record of 185-23 next year. You're not going to get every single bubble team winning the games that matter down the stretch. Everybody won games that they needed to win. And again, you're probably not going to get the same matchups to where you get that many teams advancing to the Sweet 16, having half the Elite Eight field. and so forth. But yet it's still something that I'm just telling you, I don't care how much money some of these other conferences spend. I don't know that I see anyone replicating what the SEC did this season, because I just don't know that it's possible from a mathematical standpoint and just a probability standpoint. I don't know if we see this again.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely for someone to be able to pull that off again. But, talking about Auburn, the team that Florida beat in the Final Four, I've heard some people, Brett and I have talked about it a little bit, talking about maybe this was the perfect opportunity for Bruce Pearl with the team he has, a more veteran-led team. You have Janai Broome on that roster, but you also have some young, extremely talented players as well. Maybe this was that opportunity to push through and have that opportunity to win the national championship, and maybe it's his last, perfect opportunity to be able to push through. How do you view Bruce Pearl and this Auburn program after getting knocked out in the Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I think from their perspective, it's disappointing just because, I even mentioned going to that Florida game. I'm like, hey, I think you can certainly argue that Auburn's just simply playing better than Florida right now. I think they've played better overall in this tournament. Like we said, they didn't need kind of some of those furious rallies maybe that maybe a Florida did. Now, they needed it in one of those games, but it really wasn't the same. And I feel like it was sort of looking at them, and if you're an Auburn fan, you're thinking, of all the years, we have the number one overall seed. We feel like we're in the best position to win the national championship. And we just so happen to find ourselves in a position where all the other one seeds, who are historically great one seeds, are sitting there right with us in the Final Four. It's not like these other years where it seems like, okay, there's a 3 that snuck in there, maybe a 5, a Cinderella's in there somewhere. None of that happened. Everything held to form. And I think that wound up being, again, sort of the worst possible scenario for Auburn, because you had to go out, play a team that simply had been hotter than you were in the SEC, even though you were the regular season champion, and had already beaten you once before. And I think it was just such a tough spot. And, even if they beat Florida, they're probably a multiple point underdog, even against Houston or Duke. And I know they had beaten Houston earlier in the season. I know that they had only lost to Duke by 6 on the road, but that's probably the scenario that would have played out. So I think, to me, I don't really know how we necessarily pick apart Auburn all that much, just because they did what they had to do to get there. Mm-hmm. And I think they just ran into, the national champion. Like, that's what happened. And, again, any other year, you're probably looking at a lot of different scenarios that play out to where, like we mentioned, like maybe they should have been playing Texas Tech, right? I mean, there was a 95% chance with 3 minutes left in the Texas Tech-Florida game that Auburn was going to be playing Texas Tech. And it just so happened that Florida was the team that found a way, and that was, again, the story for the Gators. So, it's disappointing. There's no question for Auburn, but I don't really know that, if there's any other scenario other than this, like, hey, maybe they win it all, but this just happened to be the draw that they got.
Blake, last year, Chris Beard flatly turned down Arkansas. This year, flatly turned down A&M. I think A&M was even more forward in their recruitment of him and thinking they had him than even Arkansas a year ago. I'm still stunned he didn't take Arkansas a year ago. Not as much about A&M, but a little. What was your stun level of Chris Beard staying at Ole Miss and spurning the offer from A&M?
Yeah, it's always interesting because anytime we compare some of these SEC to SEC, jumps for coaches, it's just, obviously there's not going to be any that compares to sort of the Cal situation last year. But I think in these, like we always know, and the discussion always for me turns to, okay, if you're buzzed, why did you leave? Well, there are a variety of reasons, but I think one of the reasons probably could be that, hey, I go to Maryland, we know how some of these guys think. It's like all of a sudden, like you become basketball can be a really big deal at Maryland. I mean, Texas A&M, basketball is a big deal, but is it ever going to be bigger than football? It's not. And that's not to say that Chris Beard hadn't been in that situation before, right, at Texas. But I just think it always comes down to that. And it's also, it's the NIL figures. It's how much are you getting the support that you need to be successful at any of these schools. And if it's just not a significant difference, what's the point in leaving? Because you just got Ole Miss, in a situation where, again, you play the game out a couple more times, they feel like they should have been the Elite Eight playing Auburn with a chance to go to the Final Four. And so Texas A&M to me is just one of those jobs where it's like, and we've done this over the years, right? Where do you rank jobs in the SEC? Well, I think that order has changed a lot just based on, well, there are some jobs you have to rank higher now based on the resources that they have and what they're willing to put into it and what kind of support they have from NIL and boosters and all this other stuff. And so I don't know where Texas A&M ranks right now. And I'll tell you, I mean, I think they made a fine hire in Bucky McMillan, but, you know, his success there is going to be determined by how much Texas A&M is willing to spend and how much they're going to put into this. And so if you're Chris Beard and you look at it from that standpoint, maybe it's just safer to say, hey, I'm here at Ole Miss. We've already had success. We've kind of built a foundation already. Why change that just to go to Texas A&M where it's just been sort of up and down in terms of the consistency, not only of just, you know, maybe the expectations, but also, you know, maybe just from the support standpoint, whether that's financially or just from an administrative standpoint there.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what Bucky can do down at Texas A&M. Blake, it's been a lot of fun all season chatting SEC hoops with you. Always a lot of fun, and we'll have to catch up with you again as we get closer to the basketball season next year.
No, hey, sounds great, guys. Thanks as always for having me on. Enjoyed it again this season, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Blake.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you. Blake Lovell with us. He's been with us all the college basketball season after the new calendar year on Wednesdays, and what a great job he has done and what he has built. It still pinch myself and every Ole Miss fan, Bryant. We have lived in times that that Ole Miss football coach flatly turned down Auburn and a basketball coach flatly turned down Arkansas and Texas A&M in back-to-back years. That does not seem real.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's different, and we talked about it a lot last week when, you know, the news came out about Chris Beard of, you know, things are changing, and you got to give Ole Miss, their athletic department, a ton of credit for being able to lock these guys down and you know, make that commitment to them and have that commitment made back to the athletic department. It's been impressive to watch.
This Sunday will be Palm Sunday. A week from Friday will be Good Friday, and then the Easter weekend, and a lot of friends and families coming in for the holiday celebration. Let Jason's Deli take care of you for a lot of the knick-knack food, even for the desserts on the big day. Let them take care of you. Like get that strawberry shortcake. That nothing says the Easter season like strawberries. It's time of year for that. Get it at Jason's Deli. Bringing more to the table. It's a family thing with catering for 5 or 5,000, low delivery fees, vegetarian and gluten-sensitive options. Same day, last-minute orders welcome. That's when they really excel. You step aside, let them step in. They have your event go off very well, whether it's dining in, to go, or getting it delivered. Jason's Deli, it's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. Again, catering anytime, anywhere. Off the menu, the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, my favorite, the taco salad, all the soups, all the meats, the breads, the cheeses, the spreads, all at Jason's Deli. It's healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. They were out front of this long before it got cool. It's all about choice at Jason's Deli. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, you will be delighted at any of these great locations on Ridgeway Road, over across from MUS in Park Place, at Poplar and Highland by the University of Memphis, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, and in every one of those locations you can count on that great salad bar with over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like. Plenty of organic food to choose from, and also in all those locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Cordova and Olive Branch, the complimentary free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Let's get to another break, and when we return, we got to talk some baseball. A lot of day action in Major League Baseball today, including the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll talk about that next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Area boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Metis today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now 382-2363. That's 382-2363. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Cars. Here are your hosts, Glenn Stacks, Sports Movie, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And we got to talk some Major League Baseball. A lot of day action today, including the St. Louis Cardinals, who needed 13 innings against the Pittsburgh Pirates, but came up on the losing end 2-1, scored the winning run in the bottom of the 13th. The Pirates did, and now that drops the Cardinals to 5-7 on the season. But last night they did get the win over Paul Skeens and the Pirates. Paul Skeens, his worst outing in his Major League career, most runs he's given up since turning pro, 5 runs last night for the Cardinals. So a good night last night, not so much tonight, a very low-scoring affair. I mean, when we went to extras, Brett, earlier today, I know you were watching it, I didn't know if this game was ever going to end because neither of these teams could get anything going offensively. Fetty had a no-hitter through 6 innings, and so, you know, I felt like it was going to be a long one, 13 innings, a little longer than I thought it would go, but a loss for the Cardinals this afternoon.
Another extra inning loss, whether it's at home and they bat in the bottom of the inning or on the road, and the goofy church league softball ghost runner goes out to second. However you do it, the Cardinals aren't able to win a game in extra innings this year, and if they had been able to, the record would be more than decent. And the magic tonic the elixir that always was going into PNC, it wasn't. Lost 2 out of 3. Beat Skeens, but lose the series.
That's right. So, I mean, you'd certainly want to win the series. I guess you can take a little bit of satisfaction out of beating Paul Skeens, but really, what does that get you at the end of the day? So, yeah, a little disappointing. Like you said, the team of March, not really the team after that, but
we'll get them next March.
Oh yeah. Just wait till you get scheduled to play the Cardinals in March. Then it's count your days. But had some other. Go ahead.
It looked frozen too there last night.
It's looked super cold.
A bunch of places. And really for the Cardinals, back into last week. I mean, it has looked very cold. It was cold here this morning.
That's right. Brad, I would argue it's still cold today. Well, now it's getting warmer outside.
Yeah.
But as long as I've been outside today, I'll tell you it's been a little too cool for comfort. But a loss. Some other finals today. Marlins. Oh man, Landon, your Mets. They couldn't get any. Talk about
First
offensive production.
Mets.
Man, they couldn't get anything going today. 5-0 loss against the Marlins. The Yankees, they are victorious this afternoon, 4-3 over the Tigers, and the Rangers 6-2 over the Cubs.
All right, anything out of the soft drink machine or the vending machine in the break room? Manager of the Marlins. Manager of the Marlins.
You told me this like right before the season started, and I still have nothing.
Landon, anything?
No, I don't.
Any Skip Schumacher guesses?
I know it's not Skip Schumacher.
It is not
Landon
Skip
looks
Schumacher.
like he's going to get. I don't know what your guess is going to be, Landon, but you look like you're about to have one. I certainly don't have one.
I know the Mets is Carlos Mendoza.
Well, the question wasn't the Mets. I don't know if I could have told you.
Same initials as Carlos Mendoza.
I don't know his last name. Isn't his first name like Clayton?
Clayton is correct. First name, last name.
Marshall.
Like the author, David McCullough. Clayton McCullough.
Oh,
McCullough.
50%, not
I mean,
bad.
I think that's a win. I don't know. I can't be the judge here, but I would
You
call
want
that
half a honey
W.
bun from the vending machine?
I will take it.
Take it. Yeah.
You got it. You got it.
You got to take that.
I'll give the other half to you.
I want to applaud you again. Yesterday when we were going through best teams to never win a major from college basketball, West Virginia was thinking cap on. That was good.
That was.
I appreciate it.
A really, really good answer. Some games going on right now in Major League Baseball. Padres on top of the Athletics. D-backs 2-0 lead over the Orioles in the 5th inning. Reds up 5-1 over the Giants. Dodgers 4-3 over the Nationals, and the Astros up 3-0. That was another talk about extra inning games. That was a wild one last night between the Astros and the Mariners. Astros won last night. Looks like they're on their way to another win today, up 3-0. 2 men on with only 1 out in the 3rd inning. So a little bit of baseball update there for you, but now we got to wrap up this hour and get to a break. We talked Masters to start the show. Now we'll talk more Masters as we get ready for the tournament to get started tomorrow morning. John Goen from Timber Trust, he'll join us. We'll preview the event. We'll also get to our golf picks. That's next on Sports Time.
Sis, did you get your W-2 yet?
Yes, I did.
Well, you know last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick?
Yes, I remember.
Well, go ahead and call now and you can get your refund fast.
Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 March hours. Check the weather for April showers and watch garden videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid for 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase a single line global limited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Elwood Shack in the Lowe's parking lot on summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Park across from the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwood. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, even beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood Vegan at the Real Coffee Bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now in 2 locations and open every day for you.
Spring is in the air, and that means it's time to get your Choate's AC tune-up. Choate's has proudly served the Mid-South for 67 years, and to celebrate, we're offering our AC tune-up for just $67 per unit. Make sure your system is running efficiently before the summer heat arrives. But hurry, this special offer won't last long. And if you're thinking about upgrading your system, now's the time. Install a new Carrier HVAC system and choose your deal. Up to $2,100 in instant cool cash rebates, 60 months no interest financing, or free air duct cleaning with install. It's time to spring clean with Choate's and enjoy cleaner air, better comfort, and big savings. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to schedule your service today. Turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Good afternoon. It's already picking up on some of the major outbound routes, especially through the Midtown area. On 240 South at South Parkway, as you push on down south of Memphis into South Haven towards DeSoto County, that's been in good shape. However, there's been radar down through there within the last 30-45 minutes south of Memphis with some radar. Be careful. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Bridal season is just around the corner, so go see them now at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Sportstime on Sports 56 and 95. Once again, Records Irving and Ryan Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios, and we're going to talk some golf here in a little bit. John Goen from Timber Trust Golf is going to join us. As we always talk golf with him, we get to our golf picks, and obviously kind of our unofficial start to the golf year being the Masters, and looks like it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend.
Everybody's clubs out, and then the golf bug bites, and everybody gets ready to head back to the golf course this week, don't they?
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. I mean, the Masters is that weekend. The weather's getting nice, and kind of for everybody, they get that first look of it over the weekend, and they really start to get out there. John Goen with us now from Timber Trust. John, thanks so much for joining us another year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure the golf picks are going to be as competitive as ever. But like Brett was saying, this is kind of that weekend where the weather's nice outside. Everybody is watching the Masters, and everyone wants to get out there and get on a course somewhere. How are things down at Timber Trust?
Yeah, things are good, guys. Obviously last week was a bit challenging, to say the least, but golf course has really kind of bounced back from all the rain and everything we got last week. we were able to kind of get a lot of things mowed out today in particular, and just kind of do some normal, just kind of cleaning things up practice. So, no real complaints. I mean, obviously we could use a little bit of a break and some more sunshine, but it looks like tomorrow we might get a little bit late in the day. But no, things are good. Kind of just getting through the winter. Things are definitely kind of greened up. Grass is definitely growing. A lot of zoysia seed head that we're all battling right now, and and geese. Lots of geese. Well, not lots of geese, but a few geese here and there.
Too many. John, I said this really kind of gets everybody fired up in our area for golf, but I know that great weather latter part of March, 2 weeks ago I texted you, how many you got coming through, and you were rolling. Mm-hmm. You were in midsummer form before last week's monsoon season hit.
Yeah, no, I think per about normal. This is the first winter that we've had the golf course where you haven't had like a month from December, January, or February. The last 5 years you've had a month where we've just had some, abnormally good weather, and you can get out and enjoy yourself and things along those lines. This winter, you haven't had it. I mean, I think this weekend will actually be the first full weekend to be able to play golf with decent weather, potentially all the way back to into October or early November.
Wow.
It's been that bad of a winter weather-wise.
Yeah.
So
we had one.
Definitely interesting.
John, what would you tell to our listeners out there, whether they're coming down to play at your place or just get the clubs out to go hit a couple, big bucket of balls? What would you say about re-gripping and maybe definitely coming down to Timber Trust and getting the clubs kind of tuned back up?
Yeah, look, it's still extremely early, as we all know, right? I mean, it's the blessing and the curse of Augusta National this time of year, because everybody turns the TV on and looks at Augusta and they're like, oh my gosh, that golf course looks so good. And that overseed from September, has done a really good job coming in and made Augusta National look spectacular for April. So at the end of the day, I think you're still just kind of coming out and going, look, I got a lot of rust, just trying to work out some of the kinks. That's why we don't do club championships in April,
That's right.
Everybody's still working on it. So, just look, get your clubs re-gripped, take a breather, come out. Not a lot of expectation in the golf game. That always tends to help. It seems like some of your better rounds are always low expectation rounds. And just come out and enjoy your friends and enjoy the better weather and have a good time.
Have fun. Have a good time. Get out and get some vitamin C and enjoy your buds and have a good time. John, this morning, I swear, I was thinking about, so excited about this segment. Every year, what y'all have done, you and your wife and everybody's done at Timber Trust, and y'all reshaped it and worked so hard in doing it, and you had a dream. You knew you could. We all knew you could. We all trusted you, and you got out there and you did it. I was thinking of this. What do you think in your golf career, long and distinguished golf career, what do you think has been the most advantageous, best thing to happen for the 10-up handicap player?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Is it club? Is it ball? Is it ability to go somewhere at a price point and play?
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any price points anymore. Unfortunately, I think actually for our market probably has some of the best price point golf
really
you're going to ever get, even in the state. Between Mississippi and Tennessee, I think that we are extremely affordable for public golf in any marketplace. So, look, I think clearly the club was the first one that was advantageous for the 10 and up golfer, because that's when the USGA went after that. And now the ball is the second one that has become advantageous for the 10 and up player because now the USGA is going after that. So, I think that ultimately it's a combination of the two. I mean, clearly they've, maximized the size of the head. They've maximized how fast the ball can come off the club face. Now they're trying to roll the ball back, which I think is absolutely terrible.
I agree.
Look, if you want to have a set of rules for competitive golf and you want to have a set of rules for just the everyday player, I think that's ultimately, the way you could go because, you're literally going to, if we ultimately roll this ball back, you are going to alienate a substantial amount of golfers because what's the biggest thing golfers want to do? They want to hit it farther. They don't want to hit it shorter. And so, if you roll the golf ball back, I think you're going to have a pretty substantial issue, from a play perspective, because, when guys are hitting it, 20% shorter, that's not as enjoyable, and that's not what they want to come out and do. I mean, they want to be able to hit it further. And, I think that needs to seriously be evaluated and adjusted. I think that there needs, similar to anchored putters. Look, if an anchored putter is going to help a guy play more golf, who's an anchorer who doesn't play in anything competitive, why are we trying to alienate golfers?
No kidding. He's trying to win the Hamburger Open.
He's trying to win the Magnolia 4-man scramble this weekend.
Trying to win the top weekend Open.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, give them every advantage you can get because it's only the hardest sport ever created, and I said they should make prisoners play it in jail.
I just, it just drives me crazy, as the USGA is the, kind of the rules body with the RNA, and then of course the PGA professional, or I guess the USGA ultimately deems themselves as the championship group. They put on events.
Of course.
The RNA is ultimately the rules body, and then, the PGA golf professional is the person who's supposed to grow the game. Well, if you're handcuffing me by rolling a ball back or putting, limitations on amateur golfers, how am I making the game either easier for them or more enjoyable for them if you're basically taking away things that help them play more golf?
Yeah, just you're not. John, looking at this weekend at the Masters, certainly a ton of storylines out there. But the one we ask every single year, will Rory be able to get that career Grand Slam going for it again this year?
It's the same answer I give every year, guys. No.
That's it.
No, you won't.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, go back to last year's U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Scar tissue.
Yeah.
Scar tissue. And
it's real.
2010, when the wheels came off the bus on number 10 tee box at Augusta National, forget it. He won't. Look, it's going to happen. I keep saying that, it's going to happen. What will happen is I'm going to say that Rory will never win at Augusta National. And this more than likely could potentially be the year. Who knows?
No, I agree with your first premise. I stuck by a 16 would never beat a 1, and then it happened twice. But I think we're there on Rory. All right, what is Augusta National? Is it a driver's course or a second shot course?
I think it's a second shot golf course. I mean, for those of us who have been there, it is extremely difficult, and you have to be able to hit the golf ball into quadrants. And that's what it is. It's that simple. You hate to, simplify it to that standard, but, when you're looking at, any of them, the first hole, there's enough roll off here and there. You're aiming at a quadrant. Two's probably the one that you can, because it's par 5, it kind of is what it is. But, you're not, unless you're trying to get there in 2, which most guys will, and especially on Sunday with that kind of back right hole location where everything feeds that way, you're not necessarily, focused too much on a quadrant there. But, 3, 4, 5 is insane. It's got that massive drop off in the front, the false front there, and then and then all the areas in the middle and the back part of that green. 6 is another one. Sunday in particular, they put that kind of back right hole location. That thing is tiny. It's like a Volkswagen Bug.
My favorite hole.
That you're trying to hit it into. And, again, you don't experience that. I've got a friend there today, first time he's ever been, called me for some advice, and I said, look, you're not going to probably enjoy this. I mean, I would hope you would enjoy it. I said, but for every first-timer, the thing you have to do is walk the golf course.
Yeah.
You walk the golf course, every single hole, and you get to see it. And you get to see the massive undulations and slopes in these greens that you don't see as much on TV. TV tries, but they're not as successful as being there in person to be able to see all the contours in these greens that make them so difficult.
So well said, John. It's the most familiar course for any major because it's the constant. Every year we start the golf major year at famed Augusta National. And we think we know it so well watching all these years, but yet it remains so mysterious, especially when you go and you just everywhere you turn, you can't kind of imagine it all. I didn't think it would be like that. I didn't think it would look this good. I didn't think it would be this great. It's the known and it's still mysterious.
Oh, no, absolutely. And you take, something that, they closed the golf course on Monday, right? I mean, you had all the weather and everything and kind of rolls on through. And, unfortunately for the people that were there Monday, you get, if you showed up early enough, you got 2 hours and then you're out.
That's only enough time to do about $1,500 damage in the gift shop.
Yeah, and that's the under. But I mean, you kind of get there and have the opportunity to be able to experience everything and but with that rain that came and the hum of the sub air, and everybody being so amazed by, oh my gosh, this place is so dry for all this water. Well, all the millions, multi-millions of dollars that are spent on the sub-air system that come up underneath this place, and you just hear the hum of the sub-air around the golf course. That's kind of one of those that, unless you've been there when there's been inclement weather, you don't necessarily have an opportunity to experience. But, every single year you're always walking in going, okay, how tight have they mowed the fairways this year? Do they? Because for so many of us, the first time you go, you're like, man, I play golf courses that the greens aren't this tightly. And that's always the fun part of the whole experience is just walking around and just being able to see and look at everything that kind of Augusta is maintained. And, I'm sure the azaleas are probably getting ready to get to peak. They know how they love to hold on to them until the weekend to really kind of show them pop. But I think this year, unlike last year, weather's been a little bit more conducive, so we'll probably get a lot more azalea blossom this year for TV coverage, which I'm sure CBS will love. And, but every single year it's just what have they done different to kind of elevate what, the experience is and what Augusta National looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch all weekend. But now here's the fun part, John. I've been waiting for this all year to get started with golf picks. I feel like I've been robbed the last couple of years. So this is the year that it
John, what is
gets
this?
done. We get a win this year.
Robbed in last place?
Brett.
I mean, it starts
Brett,
now.
we all knew this was going to happen. We all knew this was how this was going to
robbed.
Just the absolute, just disdain for what has gone on. I mean, we all knew something was coming, so we just had to be prepared for it.
We all remember history differently.
Wait till he takes the Højgaard twins for both picks.
I don't think I'll be doing that. I don't think I'll be doing that.
John is defending champion as the guest. You go first with your lock.
Okay. I am not overly thrilled by having to do this. I'm really not, because repeating at Augusta is not easy to do. It's only been done, I think, twice maybe. I think it's Faldo and Tiger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is almost as bad as your sermon. Now.
Well, you just got to do it.
I mean, you have to do it, and you have to take Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. He's going to win the Grand Slam this year, John.
No, he's not.
He might. I don't know.
But he's not. And unfortunately, I've
predictions.
just thrown myself under the bus because I don't think he repeats this week.
Wow.
You got to take him, though, don't you? You can't lose to him.
Oh, yeah, no, I took him.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to take him. You don't look. I'm not giving Bryant or somebody else that pick for crying out loud, because then I get to hear how easy my pick was. All year long I get to hear how much of a layup this pick is if he happens to wind up repeating.
Here we go.
And heaven
First day.
forbid I miss
We
out
didn't get
on
19
this
minutes
experience.
in, Bryant. Landon, this is how it's going to be for the next 18 weeks. I just want you to know. Landon, you get to pick second. Since you're new, we always let the newest go next.
Well, I appreciate it, and it is with great honor that with this second pick, I will be taking Rory McIlroy.
Whoa, okay.
Going right down the list.
Surprise
right
Brian
down
with
the
that
list.
one.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
1 and 2 scratched off. I know what's coming next, too. The Texas Tech Red Raider.
Yeah, well, I thought that he was not going to be on the board. Give me my favorite, Ludwig Aubert.
I knew it. Ludwig Aubert. And he would be one of the youngest.
You didn't think he was going to be on the board.
Well, no, because
Okay.
we were talking off air, and he goes, I'm going to take Ludwig. I think I'm going to take this Ludwig fella. So
I've been hyping him up all
You
afternoon.
have, so I didn't. I thought
Playing
By the way,
rope-a-dope
have we
on
told?
us.
Hey,
Man.
have we told the rookie that we got to work on the pronunciation side of things?
We
That's
do.
all I'm
we
asking.
do. Yeah, it's gonna get get hairy in some of these tournaments.
I will
Landon.
I will
I'm
be
just
I will be
I'm just
honest.
asking that if you're going to sound like a golf pick guy, you got to be able to pronounce the name at least.
I learned the hard way.
I will be honest, that is why I went the Rory route.
I like that.
Speaking
part
of
of it. Part of it.
John,
Is
speaking
it
of the
an
over.
A or an O or what?
Speaking of the over in 1500 in the pro shop, this hit the over for shade and stuff being thrown on a record-setting front like I've never seen.
Yeah, sure has.
First day. All right, my pick, my lock. I promise you, had I gone first, I would have taken him first. I would have taken him over Scotty. I would have taken him over Rory. I would take him over Ludwig Aubert. I take Shane Lowry.
Wow. Well, Shane Lowry.
Why would you do that? Why?
Shane Lowry, the former Open champion.
Asking for a friend. Why?
I question if you really would have taken him with your first pick.
Second shot golf course,
no
right?
Way.
That is true.
No way in this world he would have taken Shane Lowry if he had the first pick.
Chance.
John Shaka's 21 up at OWGR.
Oh, 21 and up. I'm so not ready for 21 and up.
It's like the drinking age there, John.
Yeah, right. Well, I've been boys. I've been I've been mowing all day long, and you would think that I would have already had OWGR pulled up.
Yeah,
because
you got all you live guys you can take.
You do.
Okay, then I'm taking DeChambeau.
Yeah, you got to. That's a great pick.
That's a good pick.
That's the best pick so far.
Come on.
No,
You got
DeChambeau's
Scotty
19.
Scheffler and
DeChambeau's
Bryson.
19. Bryson DeChambeau's number 19.
Oh, is he?
He is.
Oh.
I didn't even know that.
Brett, come on. Brett's like, you got every one of your live guys. Good Lord.
Oh, I didn't know BDC was 19.
sure is.
I just assumed he was way up there. Take
All right,
two.
well,
Pick your next one.
Good God, let me pull it up here.
Oh, that's beautiful.
How does he win a major and not, Well, I'm sure not taking Brian Harmon. He's like the human rain delay.
No, yeah.
He is. That's pre-shot routine. Golly, all those waggles.
I'll take Akshay Bhatia.
That's a great pick
Very
there, John.
good.
Great pick.
And a lefty, and
That sounds
plays.
extremely sarcastic
No,
out of you, Dakin.
I love Akshay. He's one of my favorites.
Landon, your shot.
All right, it is with great honor that I make my first ever shock pick and give me Minwoo Lee.
Oh, Minwoo.
2 weeks ago, is that
That's
right?
a trunk slammer.
I appreciate your kind words.
Man, John, to the new picker, to the new man.
Hey.
Brutal.
Well, I
All
mean,
right, my
Moo
shot
won
pick.
like 2 weeks ago. You think he really cares about this week? He's like, I've already made like $1 million or so, and although it's a major, I'm going to be too nervous after my win, and now I really don't care.
I bet this is all he's been thinking about.
John took a lefty. This lefty was great to me last year.
Whoa,
I don't know why.
Whoa, Brett, are you trying to pick? Are you trying to skip me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Bryant. You're next. What am I doing? I wrote your pick down as mine. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, we are complete train wreck today. You would think that we would be a little more polished after a few years of this, but clearly this is a mess.
Clearly, this was not pre-recorded.
No,
or we'd have said stop.
Let's start over. Let's
going there.
cut the tape. You know what?
Can we re-rack this?
We might have to. I will give my reasoning before I even make the pick. I saw a video on Twitter that said take this guy. So I'm going to take this guy, Will Zalatoris. Willie Z.
Oh, God.
Will Zalatoris.
Please cut this. Please cut this right here. Please cut it right here when he literally said, I saw a video on YouTube,
I did,
and this
Twitter.
is why I'm picking this guy.
Twitter, wasn't YouTube.
On Twitter, sorry. Twitter, then to YouTube. Oh, this is glorious.
I'll
this
go
might
back
be
to
the
my
best
old
first
setup.
week ever.
3, 2, 1. Back to my old setup. A left-hander that was good to me last year, and I don't know why this place is so conducive to left-handers, but I'm going to take old Robert McIntyre.
Bob Matt.
Hey, that's a good one. I will say that it was amazing how all the live guys, like the cream of the crop live guys, like Sergio and Schwartzel and
Cam Smith,
Phil Mickelson,
John Rahm.
Cam Smith. Why did they decide they wanted to show up last week, like fourth round of the golf tournament? And they're like all, like vault into the top 15 or 20, and you're like, where'd these guys come from? But by God, they made an appearance.
Yeah, they absolutely did. John, before we let you go, tell us where we can book times at Timber Trust. You also mentioned the Magnolia Open. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of spots left for Magnolia this weekend. It's a 4-person scramble, and then you pick a player that makes the cut in the top 20, and it's your 4-person scramble score and their score from Saturday combined together, and then we pay it all out in the golf shop. We do food and stuff after golf, but it's supposed to be a beautiful day. And if you want to sign up for that, you can call us 662-895-3530 to be able to sign up for this weekend. I think we've got 2 teams left currently. That could obviously change just in the time I've been on the phone here, but I know we've got maybe 2 spots left, so 8 total players. But should be a lot of fun. It's always, the events are always fun. You get food. We do a couple of drink tickets. We got tea gifts for you for the event that weekend. So we really try to, create some value for everybody, and it should be a fun time. If you're looking to just book regular tee times, you can obviously visit us timbertrustgolf.com to be able to book your tee times. We just got a brand new fleet of golf carts about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So we got brand new crystal blue metallic golf carts with upgraded GPS. We got the newest club car offering in a GPS version, so new graphics and things along those lines. Like I said, golf course is coming right along. I've been happy with how things have come out from winter. We do have our two-man scramble tomorrow night, barring any stupid weather that we might potentially get. But we're hoping that we're able to get through that tomorrow. But that should be fun as well. You can sign up for that two-man scramble, 662-895-3530. And, welcome to the golf season, everybody.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, unofficial start
Great
of golf
stuff, John.
season. John, as always, thanks so much for joining
Too
us.
fun.
We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, fellas. Y'all have a good week. Enjoy the Masters.
Right
You
back
too.
at
Tell
you.
Christina
Thanks,
we
John.
said, hey, thank you, John.
Will do. See y'all.
John Goen joining us from Timber Trust every single week starting now to talk golf and make some golf picks and off
Mid-season
with a bang.
form.
Oh, mid-season form for sure with
Landon,
golf
that's what it's like Wednesday at 4 from
Yeah,
now
it sure
through the
is.
Players Championship.
I am so excited for it. That was a blast.
It certainly gets competitive. Hopefully, somebody gets a winner. We were really good last year with winners. We
We
on a
were
roll
great
there.
last year. As a show, we
Yeah.
won the Grand Slam last year.
We sure did. did. So hopefully we can have more success this year like we did last year. Well, let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we got to put a wrap on the college basketball season and pull out the grade books. Final grades for coaches, teams, conferences, all the above. That's coming up next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I plug mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Shell Done gets it done.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales. Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Moore covering SEC sports ball, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey will kick off the first road to extra innings. Your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yellow Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South sports station.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's trying to build with a little bit more volume out of the Midtown area as we check it out live on 240 southbound at South Parkway. There's been a couple of wrecks out here in the last 15-20 minutes as it starts to get a little bit busier now on 240 going eastbound from Middle Branch all the way out to 385. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season, which is just around the corner. Go by and see David right now at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to pull the old grade book out for the final time of this basketball season. Grade some teams, grade some coaches, grade some conferences, a little bit of everything. Brett, where you want to start?
I want to start with amending something I said earlier, if I may. I said earlier I thought the easiest sports take and the sports story of the year to date through April 9th, it was the SEC supremacy in college basketball. Let me amend that just a bit. I think that and what Ohio State did rallying around Ryan Day and winning the college football national championship, and a lot of that was done in this calendar year. I think that's right there, and it ties into this. I was just shocked to hear a national pundit, talking about he needs to do research and maybe study it a little more, that if the SEC was that big a deal in this tournament. What in the world could you have been watching?
I mean, just that's and I don't know who said that, but that is that's crazy. I mean, that is trying way too hard to have a take. That is trying to be the outsider.
Well, what if you just hate the
guy.
SEC that much and you're that big a hat?
That could be it too. But I would almost say.
What if you're that pro Big Ten? I'm not pro Big Ten. I'm giving the Big Ten credit for what Ohio State, Penn State,
that's right.
Even Oregon did in the college football playoff.
But I'm not, Brett. I don't think, and maybe people I know would tell me different. I know some people would tell me differently. I don't view myself as a hater by any means. But if I was a hater towards something, like let's say I was a hater to the SEC, I was such a big hater to the SEC. I wouldn't make a take like that. I wouldn't have a take like that because it's just so crazy that immediately that's what everyone's going to say about you. Well, you obviously hate the SEC. So like,
well, you going to spend all summer studying it?
Exactly. Like that idea doesn't make any sense. It was by far the best conference all season. Not only was it the best conference all season, they had a national championship winner.
And even I said that they had to close the loop for it to be really, really successful, and they did. SEC,
A plus. I know we don't do plus minuses. They change it. They get an A plus.
Landon, you okay with A for the SEC? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, like a shoulder shrug. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give it to them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
All right, going forward for team. Here's how I did it.
Okay.
I graded everybody's year like this. I did non-conference.
Okay.
Almost like if you're taking 4 3-hour classes in a college setting.
Okay.
And if you get an A, if it's a 3-hour class, that's 12 points.
Sure.
Figured into your grade point.
Absolutely.
If you get a B, it's 9, and so forth. So I did non-conference, conference tournament, NCAA tournament.
Wow, so you have 4 grades for each team. Or is it into one?
This is what factors into my final grade.
I see. Okay.
Just almost like a professor would, after several weeks of class.
Right.
All right. With that, Alabama,
I gave them a B.
I'm a B. It was close to C.
Wow.
But I will go with B. Conference portion for Bama, I thought could have been better. Tennessee.
Tennessee, I'll give them a B as well.
I think B as well. Auburn
gets an A.
Auburn gets an A. Yeah. And Bruce Pearl gets an A.
No, absolutely.
Rick Barnes.
I'll give Rick Barnes a B as well. I'll give him a B. I
think that's right.
I think with, obviously, losing your star player from last year, you got to bring in new players. There were times this year where it looked like things, even though they were so good, things could maybe come off the rails a little bit if Chaz Lanier's not hitting shots. That comment he made about, during the game about Chaz Lanier, but to be able to have such a good season, 12-6 in conference and 30-8 overall, I'll give him a B.
Mississippi State.
I'll give Mississippi State a C.
I'll go B for State.
Okay.
But they can't have any Bs next year.
Yeah.
It's time for Jans to do something in the tournament.
It definitely is. And I think that's kind of why I gave them a C. I mean, non-conference portion, we're talking about, really good team. They come into Memphis and really beat up on the Tigers. But then after that, throughout conference, I know toughest conference in basketball, but 8-10, it never felt like they had that same spark
And the
that they had.
defense.
The defense was, and that was one of their strong points in non-conference. And then they get bounced in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So I'll give them a C. But I don't argue a B at all.
The ACC.
Whew. This was one where I went back and forth a lot today about what grade I was going to give them. I give the ACC a D.
D as well.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
Because it was really just one team.
It was. And there were some other good stories in the league. I think a couple other programs may be moving in the right direction, but outside of that, it was a really a down year.
AAC.
I'll give AAC an F.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a much worse league than it was last year.
Just
It was
utter pile.
Yeah, it was not a very good conference.
Big 12.
Big 12, I will give I'll give the Big 12 an A. I thought it was a very competitive conference this year.
I'm leaning more toward B.
Yeah.
It's top. Okay.
Sure.
Real top. And then after that, it was kind of mushy.
No, it was. I mean, you get down to the bottom of that. I mean, Colorado, 14 wins on the season. Oklahoma State was really bad this year. Even UCF, Utah. Those teams were kind of there in the middle, and they didn't really do anything this year.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, I will give an A. I thought a really, really impressive year from Chris Beard. Taking that next step, especially in tournament play. So yeah, I'll give Ole Miss an A.
Yeah, I had an A, and probably the weakest part was the conference tournament, but got a win and then lost to Auburn, but was competitive against Auburn. Showed a little bit of what was coming for Ole Miss and a little bit of the frailties, weaknesses of Auburn. Arkansas.
I will give. Wow, that's a tough one. I'll give Arkansas. I'm gonna give them an A. They rallied late. They started, instead of giving me C work and B work, they started giving me 100s on every assignment. It's closer to a B than it is to an A+, for sure. Maybe even closer to a B- than it is to an A+. But I'll give them a little bit of extra credit, and I'll give them an A.
All right, using my conference, my conference tournament, my NCAA tournament. Non-conference was about a B.
Yeah.
Conference was about a C.
That's right.
Conference tournament was a D.
Yeah.
NCAA tournament was an A.
It was an A, absolutely.
So what's all that equal? I'm gonna say about a B.
I was about to say, I think a B. I think that's what that all averages out to. Clearly, we're not teachers. I could never
The Memphis
average out
Tigers.
grades. I'll give Memphis an A. I thought. Well, actually, I take that back. I'll give them a B. I'll give them a B.
I'm
I'll
B.
give them a B.
I can't give an A.
That's right.
Because in the non-conference, would we agree A?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 4 times 3. That'd be 12.
That's right.
Conference, A.
Sure, I'll give them an A.
Conference tournament,
I'll give them an A.
A. NCAA tournament.
It's closer to a C or a D, I would say.
It's a big flat F.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons.
It's true,
But a 5 seed against a 12.
That's right.
And I know a player was injured.
Sure.
But you know what? I've known really good students going in to take a final that the flu bugs hit,
That's right.
and they all but throw up on the Scantron.
That's a great point. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
And we are in a world in college basketball very similar to the golf season really beginning with this major. It's about the majors.
Sure.
And the major is the NCAA tournament, especially as the surprise 5.
Yeah. No, I mean you're right, and
the gift horse was
Sure.
the 5.
No, you're absolutely right, and I mean, look, I know it was I don't even want to call it an excuse because I understand. I mean, injury is a big deal, but
it was a very big deal.
I mean, but at the same time, we don't know if Memphis would have beat Colorado
We sure
State
don't.
at full strength. I mean, there's no saying. So it's all what ifs and coulda, shoulda, woulda. You would have loved to have them out there. You would have certainly had a better opportunity. But you got beat in the game, and you're without two of your guards, and so yeah, I give them a B this season.
The grade for Penny Hardaway.
I think Penny Hardaway gets a it's an A. I mean, this has been
Absolutely.
this has been the
He
first
absolutely
year
gets an A.
without really any drama or anything since the season started. I mean, it was smooth sailing.
That roster of luminary coaches that he keeps adding to, that he defeats, that he goes out there and he matches wits, he matches greaseboard, he matches not just talent. I don't know that the Tiger team was wildly talented. He may have had more just on the hoof talent, more talented teams than this one.
I think you could certainly make that argument. You think about some of his early teams, young, but in terms of talent, a lot of 5 stars, a lot of 4 stars, a lot of guys that plenty of teams in the country would want.
The college basketball season from November 3rd through one shiny moment, Monday night the 7th.
It's an A. It was a great year. It was a fantastic year from start to finish.
It is an A, and the ratings show it. I'm interested on this show in this market. We want to be, but we have to be. We have to give college basketball its time slot from opening night, really before that, into camp's opening, all the way through. I enjoyed the day in, day out of this season, not just because my league was good or my team was good, but also because one of the reasons because the Tigers were good and compelling, and the oomph the Tigers gave to this season with the opening night win over Mizzou at home, and then 2 weeks later off to Maui, or maybe even 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so. It really kind of lit the fuse for a fun year.
No, it absolutely did. I mean, we talked about it kind of all building up to the non-conference slate, and certainly Maui being a part of that. And what will the Tigers' record be? What can they do? Look at all these teams that they could face,
Don't
that they
get
will
swept.
face. Yeah, and then for them to go out and start it on the right foot. And I think we had very different views of that first game going into it than we probably do now looking back at it, because that was a Missouri team that had not won a game in conference the season before. They had lost a couple of pieces. We didn't really know what that group was going to look like. And, so you win that, you win a couple more. Now it's time for Maui. You get that big win over UConn, and it really, just kind of starts snowballing into what the big non-conference was with those wins over Clemson, over Virginia, over Ole Miss. And so, no, I mean, it was huge, and certainly that was for Tigers. But, you talk about this season as a whole in college basketball. I mean, you looked everywhere across the country, and it felt like every single day there was a big-time game. There was a big-time story
St.
to follow.
John's story.
I mean, it was awesome. I mean, heck, Pat Kelsey up at Louisville, he goes in, and, you just had a coach that everyone thought was going to be a home run hire that goes out there and can't win a game, can't buy a win. Pat Kelsey comes in immediately, turns them around into an NCAA tournament game. You got Cooper Flagg, this guy that is the biggest prospect that we've seen in however many years, and he's at Duke, and what does that mean for John Shire as a young head coach? I mean, we could go on and on. We could spend the rest of the show just talking about the storylines in college basketball that were fun storylines to follow. It was a really good year. And
we mentioned it with Blake Lovell about an hour ago. There's no way the SEC duplicates this next year.
No,
this was kind of a thread the needle year.
Yeah, it was just kind of that perfect storm happened in the SEC, and we talked about it a lot. I don't know how many times we've talked about it really since, but we talked about it late in the season before the SEC tournament started, where there were a lot of games where if you don't win this game on this night, if you're X team, you're done. And they found a way to win, and that team that lost would find a way to win the next game. They were absolutely threading that needle at the right times. And so, I just don't think you ever see that again.
Those late February games, Blake mentioned the Florida loss at Georgia, and if that was the night before, I was at Arkansas at Texas. Arkansas had to have that game, and then Texas, they had to have one about a week later.
That's
Everything lined up perfectly.
Yeah, Georgia needed that win over Florida. I mean, it felt like every night, during those last couple of weeks of the SEC, there was a team right there on the ropes. They lose one more game, it's going to knock them out completely, and they found ways to win.
Brian, I know we're getting short on time. There are a lot of years you could replay the tournament and the same team would win it. If we replayed the tournament, you think Florida would win it again? There's no way to really know, but
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't think
I don't
so.
either.
The way, and we talked about this.
I think
with
we
Blake.
replayed it 4 times. All 4 Final Four teams may get one.
Honestly, you probably would see that. But I think Blake mentioned it when we were talking with him about how just the amount of times Florida had to come back, in the NCAA tournament. UConn, they had to come back. Certainly in both the Final Four and national championship game, they had to come back and really claw their way back into those games. There was another game in there as well in the tournament where they were down, and Texas Tech, they had to come back and win that game. So yeah, I think if you replayed it all over again, I do not think Florida would win the national championship. But it was a great year in college basketball. Fun to put a little bit of a bow on the season. Let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, Certainteed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, any time. Be prepared. Pharmaceuticals.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today to their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's on Highway 64 in Marlin, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I was going to bring 2 numbers to the table today, but I'm going to cut that, only bring 1 number to the table because I want to ask you something. This has turned into a question segment for Brett. Do you know where London, Arkansas is?
Yes, I do. It's near Russellville.
Okay, all right. Okay, we were talking about it during the break. Landon is going to London, Arkansas over the weekend to skydive and play golf, which sounds like a great mixture of things.
What a duo.
Honestly,
it's my older brother's birthday. Gotta live large.
Yeah, so we did not know where London was.
I'm pretty sure it's on I-40.
Okay, so that'll be pretty easy to get to.
You're going somewhere you don't know where it is?
Well, Google Maps will know, I'll just follow that.
Question, Brett. It's going for his brother's birthday, so
that'd be fun. Are y'all camping out?
We found a log cabin, and it looks real nice.
Heck yeah!
They just installed a hot tub.
I think it's right off I-40, and it's right on it begins the Ozarks, and it is beautiful.
Well, we knew you would know. If we knew if anybody knew where London would
Did you know there's a Paris, Arkansas?
I knew there was a Paris, Tennessee. I did not know there was a Paris, Arkansas. So
last weekend and all the intense weather coverage, we always get that town. You go, is that really a place?
There was one this weekend that I was
no doubt
stunned about. It was like
Sweet Lips, Tennessee.
Sweet Lips. I saw it was like Jumpman or something like that, like Jumpman, Mississippi or Jumpman, Tennessee. I was like, what is Michael Jordan?
Dogtown always pops up in Mississippi.
I knew a guy once that told me he was from Frog Jump, Tennessee, and I said, "Oh, that's a name right there." All right, my big number today is the number 100. Brett, yesterday I brought in a big number. We went all the way down to Division III baseball. We talked about a doubleheader going on between Yeshiva University and Lehman College. Lehman College snapped a 42-game losing streak yesterday with a win in the first game. I'm happy to report today that the other team, now that I forgot, Yeshiva University, snapped a 100-game losing streak in the second game, getting the win and ending the losing at 100.
There you go. Everything's got to end, doesn't it?
Got to end at some point.
My big number is 33. There are 33 major winners out of the 95 entrants in the Masters.
Wow.
And so many reasons it makes the Masters the best tournament, because out of that, there's 32 groups. There's some groups of 3, there's some 2, because it falls on that odd number, but there are 25 out of the 32 groups on Thursday and Friday that will have at least one major winner. There are 2 groups over both days that will have all 3 major winners. Tomorrow at 8:58, Phil Mickelson, Jason Day, Keegan Bradley, and that'll flip Friday. And tomorrow at 12:23 Memphis time, Hideki Matsuyama, Bryson DeChambeau, and my pick, Shane Lowry.
Wow.
All major winners. Just about every group that comes through, there's a big name.
Oh, no, I mean, it's awesome, and it makes it, sit down in front of the television and watch all the action, because you're going to see some high-level golfers come through, and it's going to be fun tomorrow morning to get everything kicked off very early in the morning when the first group gets their round started. But let's go ahead and wrap up this first hour, the second hour, and get to another break. But before we do that, let me remind you, with all the action, whether it's golf, whether it's the NBA basketball, basketball, maybe looking for a place to catch the game, you got to go out and check out Bell Tavern. It's the perfect spot. It's not one of those bars that is loud or obnoxious where you can't hear yourself think or really even pay attention to the game. It's the perfect place to watch all the action. Located 117 Barbaro Alley, Bell Tavern is the perfect bar to catch a game, and it's more than just a sports bar. Enjoy a night at Bell Tavern with one of their great cocktails and their quiet, dimly lit bar. It's more than just drinks. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis. Get a gourmet burger. It makes for a perfect night. Give them a call, 901-249-6580. Go online to belltavern.com. Let's get to another break. When we return, we're talking college basketball with Kevin Sweeney.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable. Wall-to-wall TVs, 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft drinks on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays, daily special. Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill, Lakeland's Town Square. Check Facebook for daily special weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and tile, foundation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build out of Midtown. A little bit more here in the last few minutes on 240 southbound at South Parkway down past Norris. Watching it pick up also on 240 east up by Poplar. 240 getting on the 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Trying to crank up a bit of that traffic headed out towards Collierville. Hey, dandelions, crabgrass, if all this sounds familiar, it's in your yard. Call Lawn Solutions right now at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck when you're on time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Once again,
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk some college basketball, Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated. Go give him a follow at CBB_Central. Joins us every week to talk the college basketball season. And we've got to put a wrap on the year. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Florida, they cut down the nets Monday night with a come-from-behind win over Houston. It took that big comeback. It took maybe some miscues and certainly foul trouble for Houston. But what did you make of Florida's run and winning the national championship Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I think an unbelievably deserving champion. To go through a year where there were so many elite teams, to face 4 top 10 KenPom teams in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, and title game to face the two-time defending champs and knock them out. I mean, they earned it. They battled back time and time again when faced with adversity, right? For a team that did not have much experience either on its team or really on its coaching staff either, the way that they weathered the storm and acted like they had been there before was unbelievably impressive. Obviously, the Houston game was just incredible, and I thought they did the little things better than Houston. Houston is so great at late game execution, at winning games when they're in those spots, and I thought their ability to force turnovers, their ability to take advantage of. There was 2 double timeout situations where back-to-back dead balls were timeouts. Florida won each of those little stanzas. Todd Golden, still under 40 years old, I thought out-coached Kelvin Sampson on the biggest stage in the sport and earned himself his first national championship.
Yeah, I thought down the stretch at real crunch time, I thought he did get the better of Kelvin Sampson. I know no cheering in the press box or on press row. And I know that's been kind of controversial this week with a Florida student reporter, whatever. Kevin, I think a lot of people agonized and really ached for Kelvin Sampson. And I said I don't think he'll ever get back again that close. But Bryant thinks, Houston's plenty loaded for next year and it can get back. But it's never easy. And, if you didn't get there with Shed, and here's my bottom line. If you didn't win it in back-to-back years with Akeem Olajuwon, you ain't ever winning it.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think they'll be positioned again next year. They'll have the talent. They'll certainly have the coach. But you don't get this close very often. They needed things to go right for that to happen, and for it to come that short is just gutting. I mean, it was really a deeply strange emotion that came over, I think, everyone in the building. I certainly felt it. I mean, look, I've known Todd Golden and that staff since they were, in year 1 or 2 at San Francisco, and still very much trying to find their footing, still very much in the learning process. And to see them elevate through everything they've been through and win a championship is unbelievable. But at the same time, to walk into that Houston locker room, I mean, that was as devastated a room as I've ever been in. I mean, it was very, very powerful. And I think there was such a feeling inside that group that they wanted to get one for Kelvin, that it meant so much to them to deliver that championship to him, to complete his career in that way. And the fact that they came up just short, I mean, I think it's going to eat at them for a very long time.
Yeah, it felt a little different watching that game and how it played out and seeing their reactions. What'd you make of that last play from Houston? They try to get great defense from Florida, but then ultimately Emmanuel Sharp, he goes up, he puts the ball in the ground, and then, I mean, that was just agony watching him have to sit there and watch the ball dribble kind of in no man's land.
It may as well have been a nuclear war here.
I mean, that was rough to watch. What did you make of that final sequence for Houston?
Yeah, look, I think the thing I would criticize Houston for was I didn't think they had enough urgency to get to that. Mm-hmm. For instance, they didn't roll the ball up the floor and save themselves the 3 or 4 seconds that pretty much everyone does. They just ran it up like a normal play. They had the slow developing stagger action for Cryer that they showed on one side and then brought it back with the elevator for Sharp. I mean, in the end, they actually had the look that they wanted. If anything, it was a better look. Talking to Kellen Sampson after the game, he said, look, we wanted to force a hard closeout from Florida, and Sharp could then drive it to the rim and try to get fouled. And he was more open than they expected. He catches it. He sees he has all the space. I think he second guesses and wants to go shoot it himself. And, Clayton, you give him a ton of credit. The closeout was incredible, and it just spooked Sharp, and he didn't put the shot up like he was supposed to and give us the turnover. So, yeah, I thought they could have been a little bit quicker, made it so that wasn't one shot for the game one way or another. But I also think, if you pause the screen basically right when Sharp catches the ball, and you say, would you live with that if you're Kelvin Sampson? I think he would say yes 100 times out of 100.
We've had a lot of takes since Monday night, and one of them we kind of concluded if they played 100 times, it might be 50-50, but that's not how it's done. We also did a big round of grades about 30 minutes or so ago, and we said if you played this tournament over 4 or 3 more times, maybe all 3 of the number 1 seeds would win it. You piqued my interest in something with the Florida win over UConn. Kevin, if UConn gets through that, do they make a run at three-peat?
Man, I don't know that they could have beaten the Dukes, the Houstons, etc. But I also wonder what would have happened if you gave them the level of confidence of making the Final Four. And if they had beaten Florida, I really think they would have gotten to the Final Four because things would have really opened up in that West Regional with Maryland. And their coaching woes that Willard was going through at that point, and then Texas Tech was very good, but I certainly think UConn could have handled them. I think the tournament played out the way you would have expected. It was there had been 4 teams that had sort of separated themselves. They all wound up in San Antonio, and anyone could have won it. I mean, Florida certainly could have lost either of the games they played. I certainly think Duke would have had a great chance had they somehow advanced past Houston to beat Florida or Auburn and win the championship. I think Auburn obviously had the track record. We wound up with a pretty open tournament in these Final Four, and just the Gators had the most resolve to win it late.
Yeah, I absolutely did. When you look at these 4 number 1 seeds that were in the Final Four, Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston, which one of those teams are back next year in the Final Four?
I think I would bet Houston. I feel best about them right now. It's going to be a very interesting year because Houston will have talent they've never had before. These elite 5-star high school guys, it's really not how they've built their program. But they're going to have to find some of the culture and the older toughness that they've always had. That'll be the big question for them. I think them and Duke are probably best positioned as of now. Cam Boozer's going to be absolutely phenomenal for Duke, I think, in 25-26. But I don't think any of them drop off too far. Florida's got to go get one more guard. Auburn needs to solidify the front court, but they're only a move or two away from being right back in the mix, those two.
What was your moment of the year? In person, you witnessed that in 40 years you'll be telling people, yeah, I was there. I saw that in person.
I think the Houston comeback against Duke was just all time. Obviously, the story gets better if they had held on and beaten Florida, but I'd like to say I'm not shocked often watching college basketball, right? We've seen enough to say, hey, anything can happen in this sport, but watching the way that went down, watching how Cooper Flagg's season would end. I mean, the storybook that had been written sort of torn up right at the end. I mean, it was remarkable, and to see how Houston had never quit and done all the little things that they had done all year, all of it adding up into one incredible comeback. I mean, that was pretty special. I remember that for a while.
That's good stuff, Kevin, because Sunday morning on SportsCenter, they ran kind of the Cooper Flagg story of the year, and he's going to be the presumptive number 1 pick. And I promise you, watching it out loud, I said, "Oh, look, we're running a story that we already had packaged," not thinking he was going to lose.
I mean, they were so good and felt that they had continued to build throughout the year. I mean, that's what made it so shocking was there was no sign of weakness in the last couple of weeks. There was no, oh man, well, if you do this one thing, maybe you'll beat Duke. And there was no real sign for most of the game. Houston had some opportunities to push. They never were able to take it. And Duke extends it out to 14, and you're just counting it down. Even when it got down to 5 or 6, you just never felt like Duke was going to lose, really until that over-the-back foul. And all of a sudden, you're headed to the line. You got to go make a couple, and Juwan Roberts did. And that building was as shocked as any I've been in quite some time.
Mm-hmm. When you now kind of get into the offseason, what do you make of some of these coaching moves? I know the most recent, Bucky McMillan to Texas A&M. What do you make of that move?
Yeah, I think it fits, right? I mean, A&M is a unique place. You need someone with some energy, someone who's willing to get out in the community and really sell A&M to people. And I think Bucky fits that. Obviously, it'll be a change for him getting out of the state of Alabama, where he spent really his entire life. But he's a very good young coach. Kind of similar to Todd Golden in a lot of respects. Maybe a little less analytical, a little bit more, built on kind of emotion and energy and toughness. But similar in that he's a young guy who has had a ton of success, has done it his own way, and now has the opportunity to go take over a program with a ton of resources and try to go win big.
Give me 2 teams, one nationally and one from the SEC, because I don't think any of us at this point last year, right after the season was over, oh yeah, this time next year we're going to be crowning Florida. Who's the national surprise SEC we could be having the crown this time next year?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think
kind of need to know rosters before we really answer that.
Right. That's
stuff.
the challenge, right? I think nationally, I think Wisconsin's a team that really took a lot of strides this year, and they've hit the portal hard early with 3 guys who can really shoot. They really fit the way that they want to play.
And they changed their pace.
They have. They totally, and I give Greg Gard so much credit in how he's done that. Mizzou could be a team sort of similar to Florida that had a big breakthrough in year 2 after, I guess last year was year 3. This was year 3, but, bounce back season, losing the first round, and then bring a lot of these guys back. I mean, they should bring back 3 or 4 starters. They've hit the portal early to get a couple guys. The continuity is so important, and they'll be a team that has it.
The big news today, JT Toppin announced he's returning to Texas Tech. He's not going to test the NBA draft or anything. He'll be back at Texas Tech next season. A good Texas Tech team this season. What does that mean for next year's group getting him back?
Yeah, him and Christian Anderson, who was the outstanding freshman guard this year for them, that gives you quite the nucleus. The Toppin deal was huge. I think he'll be the first team All-American next year, if not National Player of the Year, just productivity-wise. Pretty much a double-double machine. They had to pay him a whole heck of a lot. I know there was a report that it was $4 million. I'm not sure it's quite that, but it's above $3 million to come back. And part of that deal was, hey, if you're going to commit to this, you can't test the draft because we can't have $3 million or $4 million of our budget, floating in the air for the next month and a half while we see if you're in. You got to be all in or all out. And he said, I'm back. It'd be pretty easy to say I'm back if someone offered me $3.5 million or whatever it wound up being. But it's game changing for the Red Raiders, and they were so close this year. And I have tons of belief that Graham McCaslin can build the type of team that competes for a national championship in time.
Kevin, I was pretty uninterested in going to my Western Civ class for a lot less than $2.5–3 million a year.
Yeah, look, I mean, he'll make what he would have made even as a late first-round pick in the NBA. Now, a lot of guys aren't going to turn down that, but he would really be a second-rounder if he comes out. I mean, you can make money like that. I don't know how long you'll be able to make money like that, but if it's out there this year, you might as well take it and extend your clock for as long as you can.
What's the going rate for P.J. Haggerty?
I think he'd probably be in that conversation, 2 to 3. It could nudge up above 3 a little bit. I don't think you'll see anyone go over 4 for anyone in the country. AJ DeBance's number's been thrown around a lot, but that's built. Has a lot of stuff built into it with endorsements and things like that. I think PJ, you'll probably see him probably closer to 3. And I don't think that's unreasonable given he'll be a preseason All-American.
No chance Flag returns to Duke.
Oh, I don't see it. I mean, I think even if he wanted to, I think the people around him have to tell him, hey, look, you're turning down a year of $50+ million.
Yeah, remember that ankle injury too.
You got to take it. You got to go.
No, you absolutely do.
What do you want to see and hear and read from Memphis stories about the Memphis Tigers and Penny Hardaway before opening night next year, Kevin?
I think number one, continuity inside the program. Players are certainly not going to be the case given that's how they operate, and they knew they were going to have to turn it over with all the seniors. But I think there's so much value in a staff that's been together for a year and understands what a Memphis Tiger looks like and what a team, what a build needs to look like around Haggerty. So I want to see the staff stay relatively the same, and then I want to bring in portal guys that are the right fit. I think so much in this day and age, it's talk of, which guy averaged 16 points a game here or there. Like, Memphis doesn't need guys who can score, and they're going to need some scoring, no question. But not every guy has to be a high-level scorer. They need guys who can buy in and play a role.
Absolutely. Going back to P.J. Haggerty, I don't buy too much into transfer portal rankings, but if P.J. Haggerty entered the transfer portal, I've heard a lot of people, arguing, saying, he's better, he'd be better than this guy in the draft, he'd be better than this guy. Where would you kind of range, where in terms of range would you rank P.J. Haggerty if he was in the portal among the guys that have entered the portal? Would he be top 5, top 10? Where would you put a guy like P.J. Haggerty?
Yeah, definitely top 5, probably, or definitely top 10, probably top 5. I think the thing for him and for a lot of these guys is so fit dependent, right? RJ Luis won Big East Player of the Year. He's in the portal. Theoretically, that makes him the best player. Sure. But, he's a little bit harder to fit around because he's a non-shooting wing and he's a great defender, but he's not the most efficient scorer. PJ, you're going to get more scoring from, but also a guy who needs the ball in his hands and isn't a great shooter. So how does that balance out, right? Someone like Bennett Sturts or Donovan Dent might make more sense in certain rosters. Lendeberg from UCLA or from UAB, excuse me, another name like that. But he'd certainly be in that truly elite tier. And at that rate, it's more about, all right, which guy really fits what we do.
Yeah. You put out a way too early top 25 over on CBS Sport, or excuse me, on Sports Illustrated. What was the hardest team to peg? What was the biggest surprise for you? What kind of jumped out to you when trying to, like Brett said a couple minutes ago, hard to predict these teams when a lot of these groups don't have rosters. What was the hardest team for you to rank in the top 25?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a moving target, right? I would have had Louisville at like 14th when I started making it on Wednesday, and by Saturday you're up to the top 5. So, it's, again, it will change a million times over. But yeah, I think the teams that have great star pieces but maybe have questions around them are ones that are trickiest, like Kansas right now. Kansas is Darren Peterson. I think he's going to be incredible. Mm-hmm. What does the team around Darren Peterson look like? Now, that's a big question as of now. And how high can you rank a team that you really don't know what the starters look like, but they got one dude who can really change games? That's the thing that I wrestle with around top 25 time.
Yeah.
A year from now, we'll be talking about Debanza as the number 1 pick, just like we are Flag.
I think Peterson, who I just mentioned at Kansas, will make a serious push. I don't know if he can quite top AJ. AJ has such the Durant, Jason Tatum, that 6'9" build that you can't teach, but Darren Peterson is probably more advanced offensively right now, and he's 6'5", 6'6". Plus, he's going to play for Bill Self, who's obviously a great coach, and it's a great situation for him. So I think those two have probably separated themselves a little bit, but Cam Boozer will probably stay in the conversation as well. If you ask me who's the National Player of the Year next year, I'd say Boozer.
Have you toted up the mileage toll for this year, and how many games in person yet?
Yeah, 69 games this year. So keeping right at the pace where we've been. 9 states plus the District of Columbia. We'll take that. And 29 from March 9th until April 7th. So 29 and 29 days, I believe it was.
Well-earned rest you've racked up, Kevin.
You absolutely.
Yes, I will be catching up some sleep over the next couple of days. No question about that.
No, you absolutely deserve it. It's been a whole lot of fun all season having you on, Kevin, every single week talking college basketball. Enjoy the off season, and we'll catch back up with you again as we get closer to the basketball season this year.
Sounds good, fellas. Talk to you this summer.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin Sweeney. Isn't that fun?
Oh,
isn't that and great to keep up with it?
Just
like
incredible.
that.
I mean, it's just. I mean, to be at that many games, and like you said, 29 games since middle of March, early March until
that's head spinning.
April. I mean, that's getting after it, and I know he loves it and loves being at all those games, and so it's really cool to kind of keep up. We always kind of ask him during the year, hey, where are you going this year? What games are you seeing? It's fun to follow along with him of what are some of these games he's going to go and see.
And I hope we will check in with him a couple times in the summer. I hope it's not on anything incendiary.
Yeah.
I hope we can call and just say, pretty good, normal, quiet summer.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want. I mean certainly here, locally, obviously with the teams that everyone keeps up with, Memphis, Ole Miss, Arkansas, those local teams, but nationally, you don't want any of those big stories where we're saying, oh man, we got to call Kevin and get him on here to talk college basketball, and hopefully we don't see that. But I think he's right. When we talk with him again as we're getting closer to the college basketball season, the hope is definitely a lot of continuity with this Tiger team, no drama in the offseason, and I think you're hoping that we're talking about P.J. Haggerty leading this Tiger team into another season.
Run it back. Replay everything off the court from the last 365, just like that, and I think on the court would take care of itself.
That's right. No, I think you are absolutely right, and so certainly a lot of time left and a lot of decisions left for the Tigers. I know they're setting up A lot of visits this week, into the weekend, into next week, to try to get some guys on campus, try to get some more commitments. But everybody, it's just like last year. Everybody last year was waiting for David Jones to make a decision. Would he enter the draft?
Yeah.
Would he enter the portal? Would he return to Memphis? Kind of a similar situation now with P.J. Haggerty. It feels more this year. I would not be surprised if P.J. Haggerty went and did an NBA testing. I think the biggest competition would be transfer portal with PJ Haggerty, but it's still that waiting game that we're currently playing with.
And we hear from people with I'll speak for myself, with a lot more credible knowledge of the program than I have. Talk about they don't think it's just a money game for PJ Haggerty. Yeah. But look, 3 beats 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we were just talking about with Kevin with JT.
Does 3 beat 2.4? Yeah, but then okay,
right. But in the grand scheme, can you work something out? It's like what we were talking with JT Toppin. I mean, there were reports out there that came out this afternoon that were saying he was getting about $4 million from Texas Tech. If we hear reports that insert school is offering PJ Haggerty around $4 million, that's a different game. That's
at Texas Tech. I don't know the name of the booster, but we could Google it. Mm-hmm. They have an individual.
Is that right?
That whatever his business was, that he's into $4 billion. I bet he wasn't broke before he got this new $4 billion.
No.
And he has told Texas Tech football and basketball, whatever it takes.
Name the price. Wow.
Whatever it takes.
I love it. I wonder if Ludwig Aubert, if he wins this weekend at the Masters, I wonder how much of his Master winnings he's donating to the collective.
And can he go back for back claims like some are trying?
Well, and Brad, I heard one, and I didn't get a chance to read into it. Somebody coming out saying that they feel like they need more eligibility because of the years they played in Division II. What are we doing? I mean, look.
And the NCAA is just so impotent.
Oh, man.
And I've said for a while, they want this chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I hear a lot of people that are really disgruntled and put out by college sports these days. Mm-hmm. Now, that's fine if you never advocated for player liberation and freedom.
Yes.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
What part of player liberation and freedom did you not get? What did you think it was going to look like? I know locally there are some so mad over what they think is tampering over the football player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, the tackle for the Tigers,
right.
Xavier Hill?
Xavier Hill, that's right.
Well, I would just say to them, you can be as mad as you want, and they may have some lightly written tampering rule that we know everyone's breaking. Mm-hmm. And whether you're doing it directly with your coaches or you're doing it through runners, agents, intermediaries, it's being done everywhere. Can I prove it case by case? No, I can't. But you just put 1 and 1 together and come up with 2 and not overthink this. So I say it in that. Yeah, I don't blame Tiger fans for being mad over it. But you know what? I bet East Tennessee State wanted to keep Chandler Martin.
Oh, absolutely.
I bet Tulsa wanted to keep P.J. Haggerty.
Definitely.
Wichita State wanted to keep Kobe Rogers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're absolutely right. And so,
did you think it was going to exist in a vacuum that only your favorite team was going to benefit from it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But that's where we're at right now. It is a wild world. But I mean, if we start letting guys that were playing D2 basketball or whatever have eligibility, and we're gonna have guys like Bennett Sturts this year that transferred up from D2 to
that's a great example.
We're gonna have guys that spend 4 years in Division II. They're 24 years old and they go, hey, I can be a freshman in D1. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna knock down threes all afternoon at Texas.
And the NCAA just will not step up. And now to see Terry Gannon and his teammates from 83 NC State with a big lawsuit wanting, back royalties and cash from the NCAA and networks using their name, image, and likeness. that made Terry Gannon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Terry Gannon would be doing the local sports in Wilkes-Barre, PA, if it hadn't have been for that.
No, it absolutely was. But, they see that door open. They see other people doing it. Why not? They're
Get me a good plaintiff's attorney.
That's right. They're using my name, image, and likeness. I'll go in there and see what I can get. So
hey, give me Tom Mars, Little Rock, Arkansas.
That's right. That is exactly right.
I'm not even in any trouble when I think I'm going to hire Tom.
Well, that's a good name to have in your back pocket. Just keep it handy when you need it. Well, before we get to a break, let me remind you about our friends over at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. They sponsor our third hour each and every day. Jaguar Bluff City, it's been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com. Head out there, test drive these beautiful vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelets, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf, or one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. Like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Owning your own home is wonderful, and buying your own home can be wonderfully easy if your agent is Margie O'Neill of Remax Expert. Margie has over 20 years of experience in helping folks just like you find their new home. Buyers markets, sellers markets, up and down markets. Margie has sold them all with a dedication that makes it easy for you to buy your new home. Margie O'Neill at Remax.net. That's MARGIE.ONEAL at Remax.net. Or call 901-685-6000 for your new home. Margie O'Neill makes it easy. This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still a little bit of traffic here coming off I-40 onto Jackson going outbound there on Austin P Highway. It's building pretty good through Midtown. Just that typical stuff. Right now, I-40, especially as you head over towards Danny Thomas across the Hernando de Soto Bridge, westbound I-40 over into West Memphis. It's stop and go. Certain sections of Sam Cooper going outbound. Still pretty good shape right now, but it's heavy as you come off 240 onto 385. Bill Morris Parkway headed out out towards Collierville. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. And I wanted to bring up this story I saw over on ESPN.com today. I was over on ESPN Plus. They went through and it's the 2025 NFL quarterback mock draft. Team fits in 7 rounds. So it goes through all 7 rounds and undrafted free agents of what would be a good fit for them. Jackson Dart gets drafted. Jackson Dart gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Now, Brett, what would you think about Jackson Dart being in a place that has been rough on quarterbacks, the Cleveland Browns?
I would really like it because I believe in Kevin Stefanski.
Yes.
And it is clock ticking time for Kevin Stefanski.
It sure is. And it's an ugly quarterback room up there right now. So that could definitely help things. This is what it said for that pick for Jackson Dart. The Browns' current quarterback room includes Deshaun Watson, who tore his right Achilles again in January, and Kenny Pickett, who is probably not a starting caliber signal caller in the league. They need to add someone. They were reportedly interested in Kirk Cousins earlier this offseason, which is a dire sentence in the year 2025. If Cousins isn't traded before the draft, and I don't think he will be, then the Browns have to select a passer. Any name at any stage in the draft would be justifiable, and would absolutely love if they took in the first round. It doesn't sound like they're taking a quarterback. They could take Colorado's receiver cornerback Travis Hunter. After securing a generational talent like him, adding a potential starting quarterback becomes the next priority, and that player is Dart. It also added that they might have to trade up into the late first round to select him, but that they have plenty of draft capital to be able to make that move. So maybe an opportunity for him to get up there and maybe have an opportunity early to see some run.
Well, that ties into this. I get an email today from Jimmy Shapiro with a lot of odds, and it reads, my favorite set of NFL draft props every year at betonline.ag are the over-unders for where specific players will get drafted. For Ashton Genty, over and under, position 8. Would you go over or under?
Wow. Everything I've been hearing says he's not going to. I'll go under.
I would too. Jackson Dart, 23.5. So that kind of means Pittsburgh 21's the kind of the end of the line for him.
Yeah, whoa, that's a really good number there for Jackson Dart.
That is so well set. Shedeur Sanders, 9, even 9.
Wow. I saw another, I saw some other odds out there somewhere that had around that same spot, which kind of surprised me because it feels like top 5 would be the longest he would last on a lot of mock drafts. So that kind of interests me. Maybe that's Vegas hearing something, and maybe a slide coming for Shedeur Sanders. I don't know.
That's at betonline.ag if you want to see odds for even more than that for Jackson Dart. I don't know that he is or isn't. Do we have the green room invitees yet?
I haven't seen anything. I don't know. I don't know if those have been put out. If they haven't, this weekend
if he goes and he's in the green room and the camera's going to be in his face, is that awkward if he falls to second round? Yeah. Getting close.
Yeah, that's. I think because the way the NFL draft is, where it's round 1 the first night, and then you have rounds 2, 3 the next night. I think anybody that's still there, even if it's not awkward, like even if it's somebody like Jackson Dart, where you look at the mock drafts, some mock drafts have him late first round, some mock drafts have him early second round. it still becomes a story. You know, everyone sees him sitting there and goes, "Oh, Jackson Dart, long night. He's still sitting there. You know, we'll see you tomorrow." And it becomes, I think, a
Aaron
bigger
Rodgers,
thing.
Brady Quinn moment.
Right. It becomes a much bigger thing than I think it really needs to be.
Ole Miss' last first-round quarterback was Eli Manning, taken number 1 overall. He was coming off a 10-3 bowl-winning season.
Wow.
Jackson Dart is coming off a 10-3 bowl-winning season. It will be 22 years in between Ole Miss first-round quarterbacks.
Wow.
They don't come along every year.
No, they certainly don't. And, I mean, Jackson Dart, I think we've talked about it really ever since the end of the season. Obviously did what he needed to do on the field, had a great year at the quarterback position, but it felt like, you know, really the bow he put on the season in the bowl game, and then kind of after that, going into, you know, Senior Bowl and you know, different workouts and stuff like that, it's felt like his draft stock has only risen, and you know, you're seeing a lot of people have him with first round grades. So I would not be surprised at all if he's first round. I would not be surprised at all if he's an early second round selection.
The return to the game from being injured against Georgia was big, and then
Huge.
his play after that.
Oh yeah, no, that was huge.
He said his favorite throw was the throw to Juice Wells on the skinny post in the south end zone in that game. But he had big runs in that game. Open date the next week, and then the Florida game that I thought late in the game he was kind of trying to do too much. I won't say panicked, but just really pressing, though, and probably was trying to do too much, came up heartbreaking, agonizingly short, and he was just in pure despair after that game. It was something for him to man up and play the following Friday, and you know, played okay against State and Egg Bowl. Then got more physically healthy, and I think mentally and emotionally healthy after the hurt of losing that game down at the Swamp that we all had in the Ole Miss world. But you know, the starting quarterback had it as much as anyone.
Oh, absolutely. And you make a good point. I mean, that Georgia game was maybe it was that game for Ole Miss fans where everything, obviously you won the game, so that made it perfect. But it was, in terms of quarterback, was the perfect thing, the most perfect thing that could happen. You had Jackson Dart, who gets injured, but he ultimately comes back, plays really well after it. But then the series that he was out, Austin Simmons comes in and showed everybody watching.
Wait till next year.
This guy's next. You know, get ready for him next season. So that, I forgot about that, but you're right. That Georgia game was big for quarterback play for Ole Miss.
If Dart had gone, if he had gone down to Gainesville and 350, 4 touches, winning a route on the way to the playoffs, any playoff appearance, he's not going 33rd. He's going in top 7.
Oh yeah, no, you were absolutely right about that. With that, you know, that type of play, playing that type of competition, that type of exposure, I'm absolutely with you.
Do you think Shedeur Sanders is that good?
I think he is very talented. I think he is one of the most talented. He is one of the most talented quarterbacks in this draft for sure.
He had no offensive line.
He
in
had
the 2
no
years at
offensive
Colorado.
line. There were times where, you know, he would do something, you go, that wasn't great. But
I don't think his arm is. I don't think he has Superman arm.
I don't think he does either.
I don't think he's that fast.
No. But I think he's a really good quarterback, and that, you know. But I go back to those odds you just mentioned. Every single mock draft you look at has him as a lock for the top 5, and now we're seeing some odds start coming out, have him at 9.5. Could we see a little bit of a slippage there?
It could get really uncomfortable.
That'd be real uncomfortable.
I don't think Dart goes before him.
I don't think so, but if it did happen, oh boy, then it's real uncomfortable.
He could sit there a while.
He could. He absolutely could.
And we have the green room uncomfortable moment every year for someone.
Every single year, there's somebody left sitting there. But you know, Shedeur will be a green room invite.
And should be.
And should be. Absolutely should be.
Deion will be there in all his glory.
And absolutely
and should be. Proud dad.
That will be really fun. The moment for him when Shedeur gets drafted, but also Travis Hunter, a guy that he has been around for years, and you know, I would say claims as a son. You know, that will be a cool moment when Travis Hunter gets his name called as well. That moment between him and his head coach. So I'm looking forward. I mean, 2 weeks away from the NFL draft tomorrow?
2 weeks from tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, it's
in
quickly
Titletown, at Lambeau.
That's right. Yeah. So up in Green Bay, that'll be a lot of fun. It's
if you can host the draft, why can't, other than the weather, why can't you host the Super Bowl?
Because of the weather. And because now you forget about it if you don't have a roof. I mean, they're not playing anywhere without a roof.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it just feels like, I know
unless
you see
it's
it
like Miami.
Sure, Tampa, I know we've had them there, but it feels like we're getting to a time where I don't care where you're at. If you don't have a roof, we're not coming. And most places are either have one or getting one.
Nashville's getting a roof.
Nashville's getting a roof, and with that roof, maybe one day we're talking about a lot of things there.
It's why Chicago's getting a roof.
That's exactly
they want a Super Bowl.
They sure do. And what everything else that comes in the sporting world, if you have that NFL. If you have the NFL stadium with a roof, you can host so many things there. And
Final Four.
Final Four.
We're talking about San Antonio, and they're going to have to dig real deep and may never get another Final Four. As hard as it is to believe, there will never be another Final Four in Seattle because no Kingdom.
That's right.
I don't know why they couldn't close the retractable roof, close that, and still bid on it, though.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point, but I don't
for baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it would be it's a good idea, but I can see Nashville, getting a Final Four.
They
definitely will once they have the new stadium up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got to get to our final break here in a second. Before we do that, spring is here. That weather, obviously, after all the storms that came through last week, we're really starting to feel that spring weather hitting us. It means it's a perfect time. Head out Frontier Western Store so you can walk into the new season in style. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands like Carhartt, Wrangler, and so much more. Check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family, and plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango, just to name a few. Did I mention Frontier Western Store? It's the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, and they've got you covered with thousands of new shirts and jeans. Need a new pair of jeans? Frontier Western Store has you covered with the newest selection from Wrangler and Ariat, and you'll love how easy it is to find your size and style. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch to check out the whole selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Frontier Western Store. Let's get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 912-715-5199.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or in our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family of Prairie, still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly
Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South. The size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Total membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
Goodbye! Hello, high school.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that over on ESPN.com, they updated their top 25 men's college basketball freshman seasons since 2000. This is a list that I guess they put out in November before the start of the season. I missed it when they put it out the first time. Yeah, I knew nothing about it.
One Zion too?
No, actually it was not. Zion was 5 on the list. So and they updated it to put in Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg slots in at number 4.
Since 2000?
Since 2000, that is correct.
KD?
So, KD is number 2. Anthony Davis is number 1. So,
yeah, 2012 champ.
I mean, he was incredible that year. So they updated it to put Cooper Flagg in. He slots in number 4, 1 spot ahead of his fellow Dookie, Zion Williamson. But I did notice former Memphis Tiger Derrick Rose, he was in the top 10. He was slotted number 9 on the list. In front of him, Michael Beasley at number 8, Trae Young 7, Greg Oden 6, Zion 5, Cooper Flagg 4, Carmelo Anthony 3, and then what we already mentioned, Kevin Durant number 2, and Anthony Davis number 1.
Tyreek should be in there.
He should. You're right. He definitely should. But it was a fun list over on ESPN today.
I don't want to tell anybody how to do their list because I've got my top 20.
Yes, you do.
I've updated that I'll get to at some point. What I learned today, everyone picking Scotty Scheffler. John acted like somebody was making him do it. Have you ever heard anything like that?
Could not believe it.
Like he was sitting there as a hostage of somebody.
Exactly. I could not believe what I was hearing.
They're picking Scotty. They're picking Rory. Landon trying to act like he didn't want Rory. But here it is for Rory. And how many more times are we even going to be to this point? He's got to close the deal this year. I think it scares everybody off of him. It's really gotten to be agony for him there. Like Doug Bell said yesterday, you can be a great and not win the slam for the career. Tom Watson didn't. Arnold Palmer did.
That's right. No, you're exactly right about that. But yeah, I mean, maybe what I could have done without was John going, I don't really want to pick him.
No kid.
I mean,
That's the truth.
I mean, please. But no,
I mean, we can give Landon a pass in his first pick ever.
Sure, but John, he's a veteran.
Defending champion, golf pro.
Exactly. I mean, please.
Acting like somebody's making him take Scotty Scheffler.
Cry me a river. Where's the world's tiniest violin? I mean, give me a break. What I really could have done without today is what we were talking about earlier earlier today that list over on ESPN, the 2025 NFL quarterback mock draft. Team fits for 7 rounds. They listed a couple of undrafted free agents, but Seth Hennigan not listed in the draft at all or among the top undrafted free agents. I will say this, Quinn Ewers to the Cowboys they had in there in the 6th round. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'd take Quinn Ewers as a backup for the Dallas Cowboys, but just not having Seth Hennigan. I know there was another list that came out over on The Athletic where they listed a bunch of quarterbacks. They gave Seth Hennigan a 7th round grade and said that he has everything to put together to become a extremely solid backup in the NFL. So hopefully Seth Hennigan gets some more love as we get closer to the NFL draft.
I could have done without all the boo-hooing and the crybabies about the tampering talk. This is what player liberation and freedom was going to look like. This is what Darwinism looks like. This is what no guardrails looks like. Right. There's not a court case out there that if you put up guardrails that you don't bankrupt the NCAA with it.
No, not at all. But you're right. It's what everyone is talking about right now. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me too. Maybe first time ever, especially if the Grizzlies weren't playing there. Yeah. Sacramento, go Kings, go. Light the lamp.
That's right.
Against Denver tonight, it would make things very interesting for the Grizzlies in Denver on Friday night. First things first tomorrow night for the Grizzlies. But the Denver Grizzlies game Friday night is kind of the dysfunction bowl, isn't it?
It sure is. I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk around that game because of the head coaching situations at both places. Beam me to this game that gets started here in about 30 minutes over on ESPN. Luka's return to Dallas. I feel like it's going to be a fun one to watch and see how that crowd reacts to Luka being back in there.
Flesh.
Oh, they absolutely do. I mean, it's going to be...
Nico better stay back in the office.
I've already seen him walking around out there on the court.
Really?
So, So maybe do it now when no fans are in yet, and then find somewhere safe during the game because it is going to be ugly.
We'll watch live from the Masters tonight. They'll do their picks. Can't wait for that. Luka back in Dallas. As we've talked about, Houston late in L.A. against the Clippers. And in baseball, Phillies against the Braves. Braves need a win. And Minnesota and Kansas City against the Royals.
Yeah, it's going to be a good night with the basketball action, but also a little bit of Major League Baseball. You had a lot of day games in the world of Major League Baseball, but still some good games tonight. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. When we're done here, we're going to get you out to Ole Miss Alcorn State, joining that game in progress. That was a 4 o'clock start this afternoon. But enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fat.